And here we go on YouTube. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining once again. This is Wolf Shield, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, Big Skull, whatever you want to call me. I am here, I am present, and we are getting ready for our broadcast right now. If I did it properly, give me 2 seconds here. Let me just make sure that things are properly broadcasting through on YouTube. And for those of you on Facebook, give me 2 seconds here as I shift my focus in the next couple moments. Are things working? Did things work properly? 1 second here. I might have, Give me 2 seconds here. Just trying to figure out. Should be working. Alright, let me just see here. Am I in the wrong chat? No, I'm not. Okay, sweet. Alright, for whatever reason, I'm not sure what happened there, but we are now broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. For those of you watching on Instagram, you can swipe up on my Instagram story to be able to join in. We're going to be doing some more tarot readings here tonight for, again, some live tarot readings with Wolf. So we'll be hanging out here for a little bit. I gotta wake up and play some hockey tomorrow morning, but I wanted to be able to jump on here to be able to do some more readings, to be able to connect with the fam, to be able to invite more people to support on Patreon. We'll work towards getting 2 Patreon signups during this broadcast. And give me 2 seconds here as I just set things up. Yo, Ryan, give me 2 seconds here. And I'll be able to fully direct my attention to the many platforms and the many chats. If you're watching this on Facebook and you are interested in reading, go ahead and share this broadcast. These are the instructions. If you would like to be able to be eligible for a reading out of the chat, then step 1, share this broadcast. And step 2, drop a 333 into the comments and let me know that you are here and that you are looking for a reading. And the way how we do this is that we will do a reading right out of the chat, but then we will also do a reading for the first person to sign up to the Patreon tonight. And again, Patreon is an awesome website where you can support your favorite media creators. And I myself am a conscious media creator. I've been creating conscious media for about 10 years. I'll tell you a little bit more about that, but hey, if you're tuned in, you probably already know me. So give me 2 seconds here. So again, we'll share this broadcast to a few different groups on Facebook. So if you're tuned in on Facebook and you would like a reading out of the chat, these again are your instructions. Share this broadcast to any place that you want on any groups or pages. And once we've got about 10 people tuned in, then we'll do a reading out of the chat. And yeah, and then we'll go from there. So, yo, Ryan, if you're here, drop an 1111 in the chat. Let me know. We'll get a feel for the numbers. Hey, Morphic, welcome back. Laura, welcome back. Thank you again for those of you on the YouTube chat. Man, these broadcasts, like sometimes again, like it's very unpredictable. Like sometimes like Facebook will let people know that we're live. Other times it won't. So that's always kind of up in the air. But again, these broadcasts are made possible by our collective support. So if you're tuned into this, then know that you sharing it is a fundamental part of it. So I think the fact that I already did 1 broadcast earlier probably like limits the fact that Facebook will share the broadcast. Like right now, there's only 1 person tuned in on Facebook. So we'll give it a few moments here. And I'm going to take a moment here to just be able to share this to a few groups. See, I don't even know what groups to share it to on Facebook right now without getting, like, banned, essentially. You have to be very, very picky with where you share things. Spiritual Awakening group. Spiritual High Frequency. Sure, I'll share it there. All right. Laura, Morphic, thank you again. Oh no, can't share to that group. Okay, so like I said, once we got about 10 people tuned in on Facebook, then we can do a first reading. If anybody wants to sign up for a reading right away, please feel free to do so by signing up for the Patreon. Yeah, see, there's honestly, if anybody has any suggestions on groups to share it to, let me know. Like, send me a direct message if you get a chance. Like a lot of these groups, it's like either they don't allow people to share, or there's like approval that's required, and they always have all their different rules, which is totally cool. And again, it's hard for me to like know which ones do or don't allow tarot readings. Like I could share into any one of these groups and I might accidentally get banned from it. Morphic, you're broadcasting on, you are tuned in on 2 different platforms right now. Awesome. Welcome, Olay. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, these are free readings in the sense that we do a free reading for someone out of the chat and anybody tuned in. And then we also do additional readings by inviting people to sign up and support on Patreon. And go ahead and take a look at the Patreon if it's your first time now. And that will help you jump the line for the next reading that we do on air. And give me 2 seconds here as I'm just going to post a couple things here. So we got about 5 people tuned in on YouTube, on Facebook. If you're tuned in on Facebook, thank you again so much. If it's your first time here, drop a 222 into the chat. And if you would like to be eligible for a reading that we'll do during this broadcast, and all you have to do is share this broadcast and drop a 333 in the comments, and then let me know that you would like a reading and stand by for the next instruction. And once we've got about 10 people on Facebook, then we will begin doing a first reading. And yeah, we'll play it out. We'll see how it goes. So, Anita, thank you so much for sharing, and anybody else who's tuned in, wherever you are. And like I said, if it's your first time here, go ahead and just drop a 222 in the chat. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to be able to tune in on YouTube as well. So yeah, so we were broadcasting earlier. We did a couple readings, and then I had to do a private reading, and now I'm back out of popular request for us to be able to come back here to do another reading. So we've currently got about 5 people tuned in on Facebook. Again, once we've got about 10 people, then we'll do a reading out of the chat. And thank you again, everyone, for your engagement, for your patience. And again, getting like the numbers up on Facebook is obviously very important because it helps create momentum. It helps invite other people to be able to receive the inspiration that we're cultivating during these broadcasts. Gives them a chance to be able to connect to the bigger project that we got going on. And awesome. Yo, Sean, thanks so much for joining in. Again, Anita, thank you so much. So again, if you haven't yet, please help. Like, I'm literally asking for help. Share this to groups on Facebook, because I can't share it to groups on Facebook, and sharing it to groups on Facebook is one of the most effective ways of getting more people to tune in. Like, there was a group that I used to, that is currently just on like hiatus right now. And usually, like, when we would share it there, it would get like 50 people, like, boom, join right away. So now that we're like learning to be able to do this without that, is also another chance to be able to learn resilience. So, I'm gonna just share this to a couple more things. Cool, Kayla, thank you so much for joining in. Yes, I'm Skull Babylon on Facebook. All right, so for everybody here, welcome. Thank you again for joining in. If you would like a reading, if you would like to be eligible for a reading, drop a 333 in the comments if you haven't already yet. And then if we've got about 5 people who are ready to be able to like be here for a reading, then we will go into the first reading. And yeah, I think we've got about like, let's see, we got about 2 people tuned in on YouTube, and about 4 people tuned in on Facebook, and then 2 people tuned in on Instagram. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in for some late night tarot reading. So again, for those of you who may be new, what we do here, this is a chance for us to be able to receive a message from the universe, to be able to receive inspiration, insight, and clarity. And again, for what I do, I help serve as a conduit, and then together we hold space and create that intention for the message to be able to come through. So it's very simple, but it's also very effective. And yeah, we've been doing this quite a bit. Awesome, sweet. We got about 11 people tuned in on Facebook. So there we go. Now we got the momentum rolling. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. My name is Brendan. If you would like a reading, what we do is we choose a reading in the chat, and I'll give you the instructions for that in the next second. If you would like to be eligible for a reading in the chat, all you have to do is 1, share this broadcast, And then 2, drop a 333 in the comments just so I can see how many people are ready for a reading. And then stay tuned for the next instructions. The next instructions are me giving you a number, and then the 5th person who enters that number into the chat will be the first person that we do a reading for. So we got about 17 people tuned in on Facebook. So that just means somebody obviously shared this to a few groups. So thank you again to those of you helping share it. Like, it makes a big difference. The shares on Facebook definitely like add up really quick. So to whoever shared this to a few groups on Facebook, super appreciated. So again, for those of you who are here for the first time, thank you so much. My name is Brendan. I'm a conscious media creator and a full-time like YouTuber and tarot reader, all sorts of fun stuff. So for those of you who are ready for a reading in the chat, we're going to pick someone from the chat. But again, we do this as like a collective reading. So if you would like a reading, here are your instructions. Step 1, share this broadcast. Step 2, drop a 333 in the comments. I just want to make sure that we got enough people ready for a reading. And then step 3, stay tuned for the next instructions. Morphic, we got about 25 people tuned in on Facebook right now. So YouTube's a little quiet, but Facebook is pretty lit right now. So awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. All right, so let me just make sure that we got at least like 5 people who are looking for a reading. We got Sean. I'm gonna do some shout outs. We got Melissa. We got Pratasha, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and we got Melisha. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. And again, thank you for being here. Let's get right into this reading. And we'll do as many readings as we can tonight. The first reading will be for someone from the chat. And then the next reading, if anybody here wants to jump the line, that next reading will be for the person who signs up for the Patreon. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But of course, for those of you who are familiar, when you sign up for the Patreon, you can get some super awesome Light Guardian crystals. So here are your instructions for anybody here who would like a reading. I'm going to give you a number. And then the 6th person, wow, that was a weird word to say for some reason. 6th person to drop that number into the chat will be the person that we do the reading for. And we got a couple chats here. So we got YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. The number that I am going to give you, and take a second, don't enter it right away. Like, take a breath and just allow yourself to open up to your intuition. So for everybody here, if you would like a reading, be the 6th person to enter this into the chat, and you're only allowed to enter it once. So listen to your intuition and don't enter it right away. The number is 777. So take a breath here. Take a breath. Listen to your intuition, and when you're ready, type 777 into the chat. And the 6th person who enters that into the chat across the multiple chats, so there's Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, will be the first person that we do a reading for. And we currently got about 35 people tuned in on Facebook, and that's awesome. Bonnie, thanks for sharing this to some groups. I feel like Bonnie's probably sharing this to groups right now. So thank you, Bonnie. So we'll keep an eye on those numbers as they come in. And I'm just going to play with my Light Guardian crystal here for the next couple minutes. Let's see. This one's my favorite one. All right, here come the numbers. And the 6th person who enters this in. All right. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't scroll down the chat. Okay. All right. So we already got it figured out. So the first person that we're going to do a reading for tonight is going to be for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, everybody. Randy, Melissa, Anna, Anita, Sean, Tammy, Ashley, thank you so much. You can stop entering in the numbers now. We've already got our first person. And so again, as we do this, do not fret. If you're just like, oh man, I really wanted that reading, understand that we do this as a collective reading. Again, for those of you who are maybe here for the first time, I don't do this as like fortune telling or psychic. I do this as a very grounded, intuitive reading. This is a chance for us to be able to receive a message from the universe, and for me to be able to work as a conduit, and for us to be able to hold that intention together. The intention is very simple. The intention is show me what I need to see. So for everybody here, I invite each of you to be open to whatever message comes through in this reading that we are going to do. And of course, if this is your first time here, go ahead, let me know just by dropping a 222 in the chat, and be sure to connect. And again, we'll get right into this first reading. And then the second reading will be for the first person who signs up for the Patreon. And again, that's to support the work that I do as a conscious media creator. And you can check that out there. I'm an award-winning Canadian filmmaker, and I create a lot of like inspirational videos, free hugs videos. I'm pretty famous. like in a sense that people have known about me for a while. And yeah, your support on Patreon helps support the ongoing stuff that we're doing. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here. All right, so for everyone here, this reading, if you are here, this message is for you. All right, so Elizabeth, these are your instructions for everybody here. And there's so many new people, so thank you again, everyone. Make sure you're following my my profile. And if you want to jump over to the YouTube, please feel free. I'm going to post a YouTube link too. So my YouTube is youtube.com/skullbabylon. You can see that in the top. All right, let's focus in on this reading. Elizabeth, everybody here, close your eyes. Connect with your heart. Take a couple breaths here. Don't worry about typing in the chat. Just take a moment here to just visualize the fact that every single person here showing up for this broadcast is here for a purpose, is here for a purpose in the bigger sense, is here to be able to help shift consciousness. When we do these broadcasts, this is about inspiring each of us to step into our potential as shifters. Shifter is a term that we use within the community that I help facilitate. Someone who intentionally helps assist with the shift in consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. If that sounds like you, then you're in the right spot and you are a shifter as much as you choose to be. So Elizabeth, take a moment here, connect with your breath. Everybody here, connect with your breath. We're going to do this reading collectively. And Elizabeth, I want you to bring in the intention of show me what I need to see. Continue to breathe this in. Take a few more breaths, and everybody here, reflect on that intention too. Show me what I need to see. And Elizabeth, what you're going to do, you're going to take that breath, you're going to bring it into your presence a few more times, and then when you're ready, you're going to type now into the chat. And then we're going to pull a card for you when you say now, and that's how we synchronistically pull it. In the meantime, I'm going to charge up the deck with a little bit of Flowetry. And so once again, we are here as tribe. And so once again, we are here to vibe. We are here to spread our wings oh so high, because we are the flame that is here to fly. For we are ascended masters here on this earthly plane. For we are here to simply reclaim the name that has been given since our eternal birth, the Om, that has always been heard first. And so as we continue to awaken within this dream, we continue to remember that not all is as it seems. And as Elizabeth types now into the chat, we shall pull forth a card and see what message the universe has. So for those of you who are new, yes, I do a little bit of Flowetry every now and then when we do this reading. Very cool. All right, so the card that we have pulled for Elizabeth. Thank you again, Elizabeth, for being here. Thank you again, everyone, for being here, for holding this space. Again, we got about like 30 people tuning in on Facebook. That's awesome. Please feel free to keep sharing this broadcast as we go. Cups 7. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to open up the book. This is the Ananda Tarot deck, for those of you who are curious. We've been doing these broadcasts and these readings for quite a while. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up. And we're going to read from the book, and then I'm going to give you some like more insight. I'm going to kind of like give some intuitive flow, some intuitive like messaging coming forth. You know, it's kind of interesting because people are like, yo, Brendan, that's my name. They're like, do you do like channeling? And you know what? Like a lot of what I do in terms of like the messages that I bring forth, it is a form of channeling, in the sense that it's like kind of like me opening up to whatever messages are coming through. But it's not like I'm like tapping in like Bashar, where I'm like, good day, thank you for tuning in to my tarot readings. This message is for you, Earthlings. That's my Bashar impersonation. Anyways, all right. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining in. Again, for everybody here, this is the first reading that we are doing. The next reading that we will do will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. So the Patreon, I'm going to post a link for that in the chat, and you can go ahead and look at that. That's a monthly micro donation of your choice. And when you sign up, you can also get one of the beautiful Light Guardian crystals as a simple pay what you wish contribution, plus all sorts of other perks. And this is what a Light Guardian crystal is. And if you sign up at the $11 level, you can also get one of the Lumerian ones. And yeah, they're super awesome, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a bit. But if it's your first time here, go ahead, take a look at my Patreon, subscribe to my stuff. Your support in all forms is equally appreciated, and we'll keep an eye open for that first Patreon sign up. And our objective is to get 2 Patreon signups during this broadcast. And if we get 3 Patreon signups during the broadcast, then we'll do a special reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck. So that's like a very, very cool deck to be able to do that from. So if we get 3 Patreon signups tonight, then we'll do a reading from that. But for now, we're going to focus on this first reading. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. And a reminder, if you are here, this reading is for you. This message is for you. So allow yourself to just be open. Please continue to keep sharing this broadcast with your friends. And yeah, we'll go from there. So, so looking at the card here visually, what do we got? 7 of Cups. So we've got this very beautiful, pristine cup. Huge cup just rising up over the landscape. And above it, you can see kind of like a mandala that's created within the clouds. You can see the moon kind of shining through. And this rich red with a gradient inside the cup. And then the sky kind of almost looks like it's either dusk or dawn. And then you've got like 6 other cups kind of in a transparent form, almost dancing around that cup. And again, the sky becomes night up at the top, but at the bottom it's still daytime and shines out over the landscape. So again, that's just a literal interpretation of what it is that we are looking at here. So all right, you guys excited? You're excited? Let's see what the universe has for us. All right, let's get into this. Thank you again. And Elizabeth, just go ahead and drop a comment. Just let us know you're here and you're ready for this. So, but again, for everyone here, if you are here, this message is for you. So thank you for holding space. Thank you for being present. And thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. 7 of Cups. The image. In the foreground of a full moon night, a glass filled with red wine stands in the center of a wide landscape. 6 more glasses disappear in the haze of the horizon. Meaning, wishes and unlived fantasies tear the real image of the world when man holds on too tightly within. We see what we want to see because our view is colored by our subconscious, yet appearances are deceiving. Driven by a subconscious longing, at times man chooses to escape the world in a state of intoxication that only leads him into the land of forgetfulness for a little while. If we are aware of the mechanisms of the subconscious, we are then able to avoid rude awakenings under certain circumstances. What arises from the wish to change one's perception allows itself to be used as a tool for inner and outer transformation. Whoever would like to change the world must begin with himself. I'm going to reread that part. Whoever would like to change the world must begin with himself. The subconscious must be brought to the surface in order to bring subconscious drives under the control of the conscious mind. An inner standing that is ruled by uncontrolled, exuberant emotions can lead to obsessive imaginings. I'll read that again. An inner stance that is ruled by uncontrolled, exuberant emotions can lead to obsessive imaginings. The contact with the higher self creates deep trust. The opening of spirit from higher intelligence helps to create a connection between the different aspects of life and bring them into harmony with each other. In order to meaningfully transform life, man needs a vision, which can be realized on all levels of existence. In becoming aware of his inner divine spark, man can become a co-creator in this divine order of life. Astrological significance: Moon, septile aspects, Neptune. Keywords: illusion, unconsciousness, transformation, irrationality, fantasy, visionary thinking, imagination, dreams, trance state, visualization, uncovering the hidden, unprocessed feelings, subconscious longings. Traditional meaning: illusion, betrayal of self, escapism, false hopes and ideas, intoxication, loss of reality, sobriety. So, for Elizabeth, for everybody here, this is a very, very interesting card to be able to receive. And when I see this card as like, sometimes this card can be almost what is thought of as like a much needed awakening, a much needed reflection, a much needed opportunity for us to be able to be called on I don't want to just say are bullshit, but to really become aware of where our habits are stemming from, and to be able to like look at the subconscious programming that is driving our interactions with the world, and to from there not only just allow them not to no longer allow them to continue to rule our life, but to be able to take responsibility for them through the process of simply becoming aware of them. It's like this idea of kind of like awakening within the dream, dreamers awakening within the dream. This card is a huge card that encourages us to be able to transform. And so for Elizabeth, for everybody here, ask yourself, what parts of my life are sometimes being ruled by my unconscious programming, by my unconscious desires, by my unconscious habits? And is that what's serving you? Is that what is like getting you to where you want to be? What part of your, like, what goals are actually almost in a sense being delayed because of habits that are being controlled in a sense by your subconscious programming, by your subconscious habits? And so again, with this card, it really gives us a chance to be able to check in and be like, where are our fascinations? And what is our relationship like with those fascinations? And so again, the fascinations, like, yes, that could be, you know, like the drunkard going to the bar. But at the same time, that could also be like us staying up all night watching Netflix. It could be like us, like overindulging in food. It could be us hanging out with people that aren't really serving us. It could be something as simple as substance, but it could also be something as simple as an idea. And so with this card, it's really encouraging us to be able to snap out of illusion, to be able to snap out of the trance state, to be able to uncover what is hidden, and to be able to acknowledge that any of these any of these subconscious programs running in our life are usually a result of unprocessed feelings, of unprocessed emotions. When things are balanced, there isn't an overindulgence. We need to be able to find that space between too much and too little, to find that balance. Because when we become like overindulgent, when we're just like going out and we're partying every night, eventually the waters will become like polluted. But if the waters are too still, then they will become muddy. So we want to constantly be able to assess and be able to like move our waters, to be able to look at ourselves. And again, like the cup is obviously a lot to do with emotions, is a lot to do with our waters. So where are our desires in relationship to our life, and how are they serving us? How are they hindering us? But at the same time, even understanding that they are there to teach us, that they are there to point us towards something. So like, for example, someone who, say for example, has, you know, like a chronic use of cannabis in a way that is undeniably unhealthy, nothing against cannabis, but in a way that is not serving them, but only satisfying them. What is the thing that that person needs to look at? Oftentimes, the problem is not the cannabis. This is just an example. Oftentimes, the solution is like everything outside of that that is needing attention, the meaningful connection, the healthy habits, the better food, the better sleep patterns, the cold showers, little things like that. When we find ourselves in this place of constantly like falling into a state of intoxication, it usually means that there's something inside of us that needs attention, that needs love, that needs us to be able to pay attention to it, that needs us to be able to understand it, that needs us to be able to look at it. And once we choose to look at it, once we choose to look at our subconscious programming, we make it conscious. Once we choose to make it conscious, we choose responsibility over habit. You no longer become controlled by your inner urges. You no longer become just like, you know, the horse no longer just runs the show. The horse being kind of like the animal instinct. Instead, we take higher conscious choice over what it is that we choose to do. What arises from the wish to change one's perception allows itself to be used as a tool for inner and outer transformation. Whoever would like to change the world must begin with himself. So again, any of these circumstances where we're living our life and we're just like, we have to be brutally honest with ourselves. And we have to check in with ourselves and be like, where am I not balanced? And to not judge ourselves in the process of doing so. Shaming yourself, shaming your places where you're maybe like overindulging or just like out of balance, is not going to actually solve it. Anytime where we're like out of alignment, where we're out of balance, where we're overindulging, where we're over intoxicating ourselves, it usually means that there's something there where we need to send more love. It's something there that is asking for attention. There's a wounded part of us that we need to look at. And until we do that, the patterns continue. And so you don't just try and like defeat the pattern by shaming it and by pushing it out or replacing it with something else. Like, you have to look at the root of it. You have to go deep into it. And at the same time, sometimes like being able to shift our focus on ways that are going to be able to help support the new environments that we're creating within our own being, is incredibly important. So again, like, approaching, this is a holistic, this card, it very much calls forth a holistic approach to what we're working to transform within ourselves. So that is why, like, again, like any of those things within ourselves where it's like, yo, like, you need to change this, or don't, or stay the same, remain in your like state of like comfortable numbness. That's okay. You can stay there as long as you choose. But at the same time, you can also just be real with yourself and be like, is this what I want? And when you listen to that part of yourself that's just like, yo, I want something different, I want something more, then that is also the universe helping give you the lesson to say like, sweet, this is how you change yourself. This is how you change yourself from within. And it's by being able to look at those subconscious programmings, by being able to send love to the inner child, and by also, again, being able to approach it in a holistic way, where you're not just tackling that one circumstance by itself, but you're creating an ecosystem through your behavior that supports the continued consistency of these healthier choices, of these new ways of being. So again, it's like, yo, it's like, I'm trying. So for example, say like someone who's an alcoholic, it's like, okay, they're trying to stop alcohol. Like, yes, looking at the source of the problem and the turmoil and the trauma from the past and the shadow work, that's important. But what's equally important is creating that new environment that's going to align and create the space for their new self to be born. And that's going to, again, be like healthy habits, exercise, changing our social circles, changing what it is that we're ingesting in terms of like, you know, like content, media. What stories are we telling ourselves? What people are we around with? What people are actually supporting our visions? You know, simple things like that are going to help support the higher self and being able to develop the deep trust to know that what it is doing is going to work. And so again, the contact with the higher self creates deep trust. The opening of spirit for higher intelligence helps create a connection between the different aspects of life and bring them into harmony with each other. In order to meaningfully transform life, man needs vision, which can be realized on all levels of existence. So for Elizabeth, for everybody here, check in with yourself. And that's not to say you're doing anything wrong, but just be able to be real with yourself and be able to be like, is this what I need? Is this serving me, or is this just satisfying me? And I think that's a powerful question, right? Because if it's just satisfying you, then maybe it's not serving you. Maybe it can do both in a way that's like healthy and balanced. But again, you know, like even for like smoking cannabis, I know like for a lot of people, sometimes you'll just kind of like smoke it. And it's like, it's satisfying you, but it's not serving you. And then eventually it gets to the point where it's not even satisfying you. But again, once you kind of reach that point, it's up to you. It really is up to you to be able to be like, how do I want to change? And sometimes by being able to call ourselves on the bullshit, and that's kind of like what this card is. It's like kind of us inviting ourselves to call ourselves on our bullshit, our bullshift, is to be able to, again, like essentially from there, be able to be like, whoa, that rude awakening is actually love. That friend who's just like, yo, dude, like this is what you're doing to yourself, and I care about you, and I want you to be the best version you can be, and I want to see you grow, and I want to see you transform. And the way how we're going to do that is by looking at the things that are not going to get you there, by looking at the things that are holding you back, by being radically honest. A good spiritual friend will be someone who will call their other friend on their bullshit. And sometimes we need to do that with ourselves. We need to get in the habit of calling ourselves on our own bullshit. So again, waking up from the illusion, waking up from like our own kind of like slumber, waking up the unconscious and moving it into consciousness, the will for transformation. And this is a key word, it's fantasy, visionary thinking, imagination, dreams, trance state, visualization, uncovering the hidden, unprocessed feelings, subconscious longing. So yeah, a lot of this as well is by being able to ask yourself. And so for Elizabeth, and everybody else here, I really, really invite you to just ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need? Like, ask your soul that. What do I need? And in the process of asking yourself that, there is an answer. There is a truth. There is something that will come forward. And I've said this before in other broadcasts, but again, like, ask yourself, ask your heart, like, what's the wisest choice I can make? And know that you have the intelligence of your higher consciousness helping guide you, because your entire being is here to transform. Your entire being is willing you to transform, but you have the free will to ignore. You have the free will to let things go. You have the free will to step away. You have the free will to push things aside. But in order for things to change, you have to be willing to like look at what you are willing to change, and to know that that's going to be a little bit of work, but it's also going to be a huge degree of freedom that you are gifting yourself with. And that is an act of self-love. So this card really calls forth like a little bit of courage, But again, your story is not your own. And you doing this is going to be a thing that will inspire others. It will give others the opportunity to give them themselves the permission to transform. And it will begin like changing the people who may surround you, you know? And sometimes that like may mean like being radically honest, being like, yo, like, sorry, dude, but like, I don't want to hang out with you if all we're going to do is just the same thing that we did every other weekend. I've got dreams. I've got visions. I'm serving myself, and I'm creating the ecosystem to help support that vision. So really check in with yourself. Elizabeth, everybody here, what are your visions? What are your dreams? Nurture those, and just become radically honest with yourself on what things are kind of like holding you back, but are also serving as catalysts. So do not shame yourself. There's no need to shame yourself. See yourselves from a very neutral point, and to be able to say like, aha, this too is helping me grow. Aha, this too is a stone that's sharpening the sword of my will. Aha, this too is a catalyst, as we often relate. And just being able to be real with your emotions, drop into the waters of the heart and listen to what you want. Listen to like what you want to be able to create, and to be able to move forward from that perspective of sobriety. From that perspective of like sobriety, from like a higher conscious perspective. When we're intoxicated, it's kind of hard to notice that we're intoxicated if we're been intoxicated for so long. And intoxication can mean a lot of things. So again, when we're in a dream, we don't know that we're in a dream most cases until there's an initiator element and we wake up. And this card can sometimes be thought of as an initiator element, inviting us to be able to wake up, inviting us to be able to call forward all that we are here to be. And again, the other thing with this, you're not alone. We are all going through this. It's okay to ask for help. Invest in yourself. Invest in food. Invest in habits. Invest in sunrises and sunsets and good people. And be patient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Anything that you've been given is been given to you because you are strong enough to not only carry it, but to transform it. And know that there is nothing that your soul has ever given you that was not meant for you. And if it is something heavy, it is something dark, it is there because you are here to transform it. And by you transforming it, you're also transforming it on behalf of the collective. And that is a very, very noble thing to do. And on behalf of the consciousness of the universe, myself here saying this to you, I acknowledge the fact that you are brave. I acknowledge your bravery as a soul to be able to come here and to carry those heavy things, knowing that it's not your job to carry them the entire way, but to be able to alchemize them, to transform them. And that in doing that, you're transforming them for the collective as well. So the same shadow that you carry is the same shadow that I carry, is the same shadow that he carries, that she carries. We are all carrying it together. We are all doing the work. We are all transforming it together. And those of us who have been given the harder path is only because we have the experience as soul to be able to choose and succeed in that higher path, in that harder path. And again, it's just going to help you grow. It's just going to help you evolve. It's just going to get you ready for what's coming next. And it's going to give you the empathy to teach others how to do the same. So out of this, Elizabeth, I see this as a card that's also encouraging you to like also acknowledge that you yourself are a leader. And by you leading within your own life, you're giving yourself the wisdom to know how to help lead others. Just think, if you were just like, hey, like I want to, like as a soul, right? if a soul's like, yo, there's a lot of trauma on this earth and I want to be able to help change it because I'm a very caring, heart-centered person, then the universe is like, okay, I see that, I honor that, and realistically, the only way to be able to do that is to be able to go through it yourself and to empathize with it and to be given those keys and to be given those gifts that you can bring forth out of the trauma to say, I have healed myself. I am healing myself. I know how to heal a broken heart. I know how to be able to like move forward. I know how to be able to nurture my dreams. And you can do that too. The person who you're talking to, your story is not just your own. It echoes through the people that you meet, and your story is an inspiration. So Elizabeth, for everybody here, thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you for having the courage. Thank you for seeing that sometimes our hardships are actually our gifts, are actually a part of our story, are actually just one chapter in a much bigger ongoing narrative that allows us to look back and be able to say like, whoa, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of myself for the work that I did. And you should already be proud of yourself. You should already be proud of yourself for just showing up. And I encourage you to invite in that vision of seeing where you can be in the future and get very clear. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in a week from now? Where do you want to be in a month from now? Where do you want to be in 3 months from now? Write that down. Literally write that down. Give yourself that goal. Give yourself that vision. Work towards it. That is what your soul is here to do. And so thank you for doing it. So this is a very, very powerful card. And yeah, I'm sure this is a card that resonates with a lot of people who are tuned into this. So for anybody here, Elizabeth, go ahead, let us know in the comments how this resonates with you, and I'll read any comments on screen. And for anybody else, if this resonated with you, drop an 1111 in the chat. If you were just like, yo, that was a message that I needed to hear. And so thank you again. Thank you as well for being here. And yeah, I'll take a moment here to go through the chat. So Elizabeth said, thank you. I'm in control of my consciousness. Time to look deep and change patterns. There you go, Elizabeth. And so it is. And so it is. Awesome. Sean says, find the reason you are here. If you follow your heart, there's always a deep reason. Then you will exist naturally. Very cool. Pam says, may I get a reading? Pam, thank you so much for joining. I'll go over that in a second. Thank you, Robin. First time for joining. Elizabeth says, thank you again. Elizabeth says, wise words, giving me the pat on the shoulder that I needed. Absolutely. And you know what? Like, seriously, give yourself that pat. Like, give that higher self, the higher self from you should be able to be like patting your shoulder all the time. Your higher self is never disappointed in you, is never upset at you, is never angry at you, because your higher self sees the full story. It's only the ego. It's only like the centered self, like the part of ourself that doesn't see the full picture, where it's just like, yo, like, you know, we beat ourselves up. But again, those feelings are valid. And sometimes when we feel those feelings where we're just like, oh, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, that intoxication eventually leads to purging, right? Listen to that, because that's that's you moving forward. That's you like being able to say like, yo, okay, this is not what I'm here to do. This is not what I'm existing. That's not, you know, this isn't just about like me like getting drunk and partying. And I use that in more like a metaphorical sense. And again, the world becomes even like more delicious when you can be able to like taste it through like the clear lens of sobriety. The world becomes brighter. Things become more present. The gifts start arising. The synchronicities start kicking in. Things of that nature. So in the same high that you might get off of like this, and this, start getting high off of the present moment. Start getting high off of exercise. Start getting high off of meaningful conversations, of eye gazing, again, off sunrises and sunsets, off good sleep, off dreams, things of that nature. So again, this is a very cool card. Very powerful card. So 7 of Cups. So for anybody here, if you want, I can send you a screenshot of what's written in the book here. Send me a direct message on Facebook for anybody here who's tuned into this, and I can send that to you. So Elizabeth, please feel free to connect to my profile for everybody here. And for everybody here, I'm just going to post my my YouTube in the chat. You guys are welcome to also tune in on YouTube if you wish. And if you subscribe to me on YouTube and click the bell notification, you'll get notifications for when I do future broadcasts. Thank you again to those of you in the YouTube chat. Yo, we got Placebo in here. We got Natalia. We got Morphic. And we got 1111 Balance. Yeah, another 7, right? Getting those 7s all over the place. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, thank you as well for tuning in. You can swipe up on my Instagram story to join in on YouTube. So from here, what we'll do, we'll take a quick intermission. Again, thank you again, everyone, so much for joining. When we do these broadcasts, there's multiple intentions. It's to be able to provide awesome value for the community, insight, messages, inspiration, clarity, to inspire us on our path. And it's also to be able to help invite people to support the work that I do on Patreon so that we can keep doing more of these awesome broadcasts. And our objective during this broadcast is to get at least 2 new people signed up on Patreon. So for those of you who are tuned into this, if you sign up on Patreon in the next 3 minutes, however, it doesn't take long to sign up, then you will be the next person who we do a reading for on air. And you can also get a private reading as well. So we can either do a reading for you on air or a private reading. And again, when you sign up on Patreon, those of you who tuned in before, you guys know here comes my spiel again. But you can also get a super beautiful light guardian crystal. Again, these are exclusive items that I hand make to be able to help assist and support you on your journey of shifting consciousness. And how much do these cost? They cost as much as you wish to pay after you sign up for the Patreon. So that's a super, super awesome deal. This is one of the Lumerian ones, and the Lumerian ones are available at the $11 level on Patreon. And again, for those of you who haven't met me before, I'm a full-time conscious media creator. I've been creating conscious media for over 10 years. I'm an award-winning Canadian filmmaker who has dedicated his time, his devotion to being able to help create conscious media, to build community, to do awesome broadcasts, to go out and do free hugs, sometimes dressed up as Mystic Spider-Man. That's my thing. For those of you who haven't seen, you can connect me on Instagram as well. And yeah, we've been building an amazing community over these past many years. So if you're new here for the first time, please feel free to connect to the community simply by connecting to my profile, subscribing to my YouTube, and you can check out more at paradigmshiftcentral.com as well. And I'll post that into the chat also, and you can explore there. And we also have our team chat. If anybody here has not joined our team chat, please feel free to send me a direct message, and I can send you a link for our private team chat as well. And so thank you again, everyone, for joining and for being here. What I would like to do is like to take a few moments here to be able to make time to invite again, let's get 2 Patreon signups during this broadcast. That is the objective here. And we'll keep doing this broadcast. I have to get up for hockey pretty early in the morning, but I'm okay doing this broadcast for a little bit longer, for however many readings. And again, if we get 3 Patreon signups, then we can get the super awesome reading from the Lightworker Oracle decks. That's a little bonus incentive there as well. Thank you again, everyone. For those of you on YouTube, please go ahead and like the video. And we'll check how many people are tuned in on YouTube. I'm just going to take a quick intermission to be able to wet my whistle. And quick, for those of you who haven't already answered this before, what mug is my cup based on? You can leave that in the comments below. So we got about 7 people tuned in on YouTube right now. Go ahead, smash that like button, and then more people will synchronistically find it. That's how the like button works. Like if you like the video while it's live, then YouTube will recommend it if somebody like looks up live tarot readings. Let's see how many people know what this cup is. See some of you. Awesome. Thank you Pink Moonshine, for subscribing. Thank you so much. For those of you on Twitch, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube. You can see it in the top there, the information, so you can just open it up while you're browsing at the same time. And yes, did anybody else answer what this is? The answer is there's someone in the 1111 balance. Harry Potter. Does that look like Harry Potter? I mean, I guess it kind of does. That's a good answer. I like that. The answer is The Little Prince. So sweet. All right, awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Let's hang out and see if we can hold space for that next new Patreon sign up. We've got about 11 people tuned in on YouTube, on Facebook right now. For those of you who are here, if you're just tuned in on Facebook, go ahead and drop an 1111 in the chat. Is it Good Omens? Oh, Good Omens as in like that show, the book? No, it is not Good Omens. Does it look like Good Omens? But yes, that is a Little Prince. Shout out to MJWYNNE. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but on Twitch they got it. So, all right, thanks so much, Tribe Team, for hanging out, for joining us. I feel like we got like a lot of the Patreon supporters already joined in right now, and thank you for those of you who came back, because you guys saw that like I was already on earlier, and now we're back once again. And yeah, let's see, what should we do here? Again, I want to be able to invite any new Patreon signups in the next couple minutes, and then we'll do the next reading for the next Patreon supporter who signs up, and we'll just kind of like hang out in the meantime. And if there's no new Patreon signups, then I honestly may just play some Super Metroid for a bit. So, which is okay with me, because we've already done like 4 readings today. I think so. 4, 5, 3, 4, 3, 4. But one of them was private. So, all right. If you're tuned in on YouTube, or if you're tuned in on Facebook, just drop an 1111 in the chat. Let me know that you're tuned in. And yeah, we'll see. How's the sound levels? Why no super chat option? I don't know if the super chat's disabled. I mean, usually there is, but honestly, I don't want people to use the super chat, because I don't even get that donation. Like, the super chat has to go through this weird process, and like only when I've gotten like 100 donations, $100 donated on super chat, does it actually process. But that's why, like, yeah, I don't want super chat donations. I would rather just be able to invite people to support on the Patreon. Post a link for the Patreon in the chat there. Thank you, MJWYNNE, for signing up and supporting on Twitch. Your follow is greatly appreciated there. I'll post a link for the YouTube chat, that way so you can follow me on YouTube as well. And please feel free to join in on YouTube. Just because like Twitch is always interesting. It's quite a dynamic audience. A lot of people just like tune in and they're just like super like, what's this about? But then every now and then you get like some really cool people who join in. I mean, everyone's cool in their own way. You get some really cool people who join in, and yeah, and they're just like, yo, this is really awesome. I'm really glad I found this. So it's like the synchronicity still works through all platforms. Placebo getting all not a fan of the super chat. So all right, yeah, YouTube is a little bit, the delay on YouTube is a little bit different from Facebook, which is interesting. All right, Eve, thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, Good Omens was a book, then a series on Amazon Prime. The mug looks like Michael Sheen's character, Azafal. Yeah, like I can see that. I know what you're saying. It actually kind of does, now that I look at it. It kind of does look like the character from Good Omens. So this is The Little Prince, and the quote on the back says, but the eyes are blind, one must look with the heart, which is a very, very cool quote. So, all right, team, what do you guys want to do? Do you want Brendan to play some Super Metroid and take it easy, or should we do another reading? Again, I'd like to be able to do a reading for a Patreon sign up, is what I would like to be able to do. Because I know if I just keep saying yes to doing free readings, then the universe will be like, okay, more free readings it is. So, Red Pill, thanks for joining in. I don't answer specific questions from the chat for readings. But when we do readings, I invite you to have the intention of show me what I need to see. So I'll post a link for the Patreon into the chat. And again, for anybody here, if you would like to be the next person that we do an on-air reading for, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes. And when you sign up there, you can also get a beautiful Light Guardian crystal and other cool perks, including my 3-hour-long video of my 5-gram mushroom experience. For those of you on Patreon, make sure that you check like the exclusive posts, right? Sweet, we got Brendan in here. Awesome. Morphic, again, thank you. Martha, Natalia, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for joining in. So if anybody here is interested in signing up for the Patreon later, even let me know as well, because then we can do a private reading for you also. And the private readings are pretty cool because then we can go deeper. If anybody here is on Patreon and wants to update their pledge, go ahead, and then we'll do another reading just for the chat in general. So for those of you who are already signed up, you guys are pretty familiar with how it works. Essentially, you keep putting dollar bills in my like and I keep dancing, right? So Placebo, come to LA so we can do a DMT live stream. Maybe someday. Man, that'll be the day. So all right, so 3 people tuned in on Facebook. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, like, because we did the reading on Facebook and there was like 30 people tuned in, right? And then eventually it just goes down to 3. And I'm grateful to still be able to like provide the value, but at the same time I have to be able to like honor my own worth and honor the conditions of the energy exchange at the same time. So I mean, theoretically I could just keep doing like free readings all night, but that wouldn't be like, maybe if it was like, if that was a full intention. But again, the intention here is to also be able to invite people to support on the Patreon as well. Morphic, are you gonna update your Patreon right now? Is that what you're saying? Because I know you were talking about that before. Morphic wants that Lumerian crystal. She's like, I'm getting that Lumerian crystal. Check out this orange one. Do you guys like this orange one? Do you guys like the orange? The orange is pretty interesting. All right, so stand by. We may be doing another reading if Morphic updates their Patreon. And then Morphic was like gonna update it to begin with, so that's kind of a bonus for everyone. So if anybody else here wants to update their Patreon, let me know. Again, oh yeah, did you guys hear? Once I get 300 supporters on Patreon, I'm gonna go to Rhythmia and document my experience with ayahuasca. Did you guys hear about that? That was I put up that post today, so it's like putting that intention out to the universe, right? So, and seriously, like, I'll do it 100%. I'll do it. Like, I want to do that. Check out this chunky red one. I love this one. This one's chunky. Okay, I think Morphic is gonna increase their Patreon pledge. Yeah, Marley and Morphic, if both of you are updating your Patreon pledge, like, that's cool. Like, that's totally cool. And then we can just like keep doing readings, because I think we got some. Okay, if anybody here is new, drop a 222 in the chat. Like, I want to see how many new people we have in the chat. And special thank you to our Patreon supporters who are updating their pledge, because they're gonna keep the show going for the entire community here. 1111, what are you asking? Once what you're going to Rhythmia? Can you restate that? Canada limit with Argentina? I'm not sure what you're asking, Natalia. Alright, so hang tight, everyone. We're gonna get into a next reading. Alicia, thank you so much for joining in. If you would like to be able to jump the line for a reading, you can sign up to the Patreon with a monthly micro contribution, and then we can go from there. I appreciate you guys adding, upgrading your pledge. Oh, I gotta restart the Instagram broadcast. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up. Yeah. The thing with the Instagram, it's like with the Patreon, like, you just have to keep building it over time. And like, that's the thing. Like, again, like, I want to master the ability to do these live broadcasts and to be able to like create conditions to invite people to sign up to the Patreon, and to keep doing that over time. And every Patreon sign up makes a difference. So, and yeah, like I said, once I get to 300 Patreon supporters, I'll go to Rhythmia. I'll live stream my ayahuasca experience. The first live streamed ayahuasca experience ever. I feel like I could do that, quite frankly. I mean, considering the fact that I've filmed myself on 5-gram mushrooms, like, well on it. I mean, I would have to feel it out. Like, the first time I do it, I would probably just want to like do it just straight up. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be possible to still like actually document an ayahuasca experience while it's happening in a very sacred, intentional way. And I'd probably be like someone who would be capable of doing it. So, you said when something happens, you're going to go to Rhythmia. What did you say? Oh, 1111. Yeah, so once I get 300 supporters on Patreon, then I'll go to Rhythmia and document my ayahuasca experience live. Please, Marley, thank you so much for the update on the pledge. Marley, yo, choosing the new tier that we unlocked. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Marley, if you want, you can let people know what you updated your pledge to. Otherwise, I'm not gonna say to them. I usually do that. Usually when people donate, I don't say like, thanks to this person for signing up for $100 or something like that. Because like, I want people to understand that like every single pledge is like equally appreciated, because like it's relative, right? Like $5 to someone could be 50 to another person. So I don't want people to be like, oh man, like that's a lot. I can't do that. It's all appreciated. It's all appreciated. Yes, Marley, your pledge did update. And Marley, again, let me know like in a direct message, like if you want me to send you a Light Guardian crystal, because I feel like you, like, I know you're looking at one, and seriously, dude, like hold on to these like while working with ayahuasca, like while doing a ceremony. So like hold like 2 at once and then be like looking at these. I've not held on to these while doing DMT, but I feel like they would blow my mind if I did, in a very beautiful way. So Marley, thank you again for your support, dude. Means the world. Like seriously, it really, really does. Your support isn't just something that's helping me, but it's helping other people. So happy to have you. And Marley, you just like stumbled upon this like a while ago, right? So yeah, so we opened up the $22 tier literally just the other day, which is pretty awesome. Because I figured like, hey, if it's there, people will choose it. So thank you, Marley. Awesome. No, it's super appreciated, man. Super appreciated. And again, like part of my intentions, like eventually, like my plans to like, yeah, like go like traveling. So again, yeah, like Marley, you doing that is like giving me the option, giving me more options to like go out to the West Coast and to like go to awesome places. Like essentially, like that's like going to be the intention, is to like go where the universe wants me to go and to be able to like do awesome things. So I'm going to update, or actually, no, we're still at 123. So I'm not going to update the Patreon number. But thank you again, Marley, for doing that. Sweet. All right. Let's get another reading, and let's do this for somebody who, is here for the first time. So, all right, so if anybody here, if you would like to be eligible for a reading, we're going to choose someone out of the chat, thanks to Tasty Placebo, aka Marley, who contributed on Patreon. They updated their pledge amount, so thank you so much. And yeah, and then I think Morphic is updating theirs in the next little bit too. And thank you again, everyone, just for being here and supporting as a team. I really enjoy just hanging out with you all. So, Julie, thank you so much for joining in. Again, I don't answer questions specifically from the chat. I don't claim to be a psychic. I don't claim to do this as fortune telling. Literally, this is just a chance for us to be able to receive, again, a message from the universe. So, for everybody here, if you would like to be eligible for a reading, drop a 333 into the chat, and then stay tuned and I'll give you the next instructions. Who's Kapahuna? Someone's like in the Twitch chat, and I think they jumped over from somewhere. So that's pretty cool. For those of you tuning in we got 6 people on Instagram. First of all, thank you. For those of you on Instagram, join the party on YouTube by going to my Instagram story and swiping up. What do you think? Should I just like put my hair in a mohawk? What should I do here? All right, so for those of you on my Instagram, go to my Instagram story and swipe up, and then tune in on YouTube. You're welcome to keep watching here, but when you do that, you can like join the party. There's like a bunch of people in the YouTube chat, and we still got about 6 people on Facebook right now. So thank you again, everyone, for clearly having nothing better to do. And I don't mean that in like, I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I actually mean that in a very humbling way. So, And it's nice because you guys are actually like getting to know each other too. Like I know friendships have been formed as a result of these chats. This is like, again, like Soul Tribe coming together. You know, I really take pride in the community that we're building here. I've seen a lot of online communities kind of like rise and then implode. We within like our community, we've got like good roots, and I think that like says a lot. And I'm really, really grateful for everybody here who helps nurture those roots. All right. Sweet. Okay. So Martha, Ciara, and Julie, anybody else who would like a reading, drop a 333 into the chat right now. And then I can know who wants to get this next reading. Okay, so these are the instructions. For everybody here, we're going to choose this next reading for someone from the chat. Special shout out to Marley, who updated their Patreon pledge. And I think Morphic is going to update their Patreon pledge in a bit. No rush though. And again, we'll still like invite more Patreon supporters. All right, Susan, thank you so much for joining. Okay, for everybody here, I'm going to give you a number, and then we're going to do this reading. I'm going to give you a number, and then you're going to enter this number into the chat, but you are not going to enter it right away. The fifth person who enters this number into the chat will be the next person who we do a reading for. Christina, thank you, Christina, for updating your pledge. Christina, is that Morphic? I'm Morphic. I think Morphic is... yeah, okay, cool. Awesome, Morphic. Thank you so much. Update confirmed. Sweet. All right, so let's get into this next reading. Again, for those of you on Facebook, if it's your first time here, you can sign up for the Patreon if you would like to do that to support the ongoing work that we do here in the community. And this next broadcast is made possible thanks to our Patreon supporters. So here's the number that I'm going to give you. The fifth person who enters this number into the chat will be the next person who we do this next reading for. Next lifetime. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, but if you want to clarify, go ahead. Okay. The number I'm going to give you is the number 888. Be the fifth person to enter this number into the chat. Only enter it in once, and then you will be the next person that we do this reading for. Any whatever chat you're in, because I monitor it across all chats. So don't enter it in right away. Like, this isn't a rush to be the first person to enter it. You want to be the fifth person. And keep in mind that there's numerous chats. And again, there's the lags kind of different on the different chats. So that's why I'm saying, like, space it out. And this kind of like, this is like a fair way of being able to do it across multiple chats. So you really got to time it out. And you really got to like listen to your intuition when we do this. Okay, I'll keep an eye open here. I'll let you know once I see it. Okay, all right, there it is. Okay, so the person that we are doing this reading for is Martha. Martha, thank you so much. And also, awesome. Alicia, thank you so much for signing up on the Patreon. We did just actually get a new Patreon supporter from Alicia. So Alicia, stick around and we'll do the next reading will be for Alicia. And then from there, we can still have like one more bonus one for the community. So we might do at least like 3 more readings. Oh God. Okay, so Martha, congratulations, and Alicia, thank you so much. I'm just going to update the information on screen here. Give me 2 seconds, everyone. And I'm just going to update the fact that we are now at 124 Patreon supporters. Some of you who have been tuned in before, you'll notice like you're like, wait a second, weren't we at 125 in September? Yes, that is true, but what happens with Patreon is that sometimes Patreon donations don't always process. Like sometimes people haven't updated their card and stuff like that. So usually at the end of each month, the Patreon numbers will fluctuate, and that's why, again, we always want to have to keep rising because it's almost guaranteed that every single month the numbers, there's going to be like some numbers that are going to drop, but as long as there's more in as there is out, then that's when the Patreon continues to build. So Alicia, thank you so much. And Alicia, we'll get to your reading in the next minute. This next reading is going to be from Martha. So Martha, congratulations. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to put a limit on this and say that we're not going to go any later than 1:30. Awesome. Moto Ninja, thank you so much for joining in. and everybody else. All right, Martha, we're going to do this next reading for you. I invite everybody here to drop into their heart space. And Mr. J. Ingle, I see you on Twitch. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it, dude. If you want to join in on YouTube, go ahead, just because there's more people there. So if you feel like you're like lonely in Twitch, go ahead and jump over to the YouTube and join the party there. And go ahead and connect with our friends. All right. So we'll do this next reading, and we'll keep an eye open. If there's any other Patreon signups, that's always appreciated. At this point, we definitely... yeah, we've gotten a goal, but we can always get more on top of that, and that's super cool. And you guys can decide. Like, we can also do one of the readings from the Lightworker Oracle deck. I feel like we've earned it for this broadcast. So thank you again, everyone. All right. Martha, inviting you to just drop into your heart space. Everybody here, again, if you are here, this message is for you. If you are here, this message is for you. Allow yourself to drop into your heart space, into that space of gratitude, a space of love, a space of adventure, a space of excitement, a space of peace. Martha, allow yourself to bring forth that intention of show me what I need to see. Take a few breaths here. Everybody here, just think about that. Just say that intention. Show me what I need to see. And Martha, when you are ready, after a few breaths, take your time, type now into the chat. And then we'll pull your card for you on behalf of you. And so, like the water, we flow into that which we already know, a process of remembering which way to go. And yet the place in which we are always best invited to is the place in which we often run from, me and you. The place is within. The place is the stillness that has always been. The place is the love that we can truly live in. And so as we take a breath here, we look to the skies as we allow ourselves to reflect on the answers to why. And yet we live that quest that question with each breath. And we continue to devote ourselves to showing up as our best shifters and light guardians, here to pass these tests, here to dance this dance, to sing this song, and to remind ourselves that this is all just a game that we are playing all along. Martha, when you are ready, type now into the chat, and we will pull from the deck and see what message the tarot has. Waiting for that now from Martha in the chat. Breathing here. The quantum synchronicity unfolding. Giving it an extra second. Whenever Martha is ready. Martha, if you're there still, and if you haven't yet, as soon as you're ready. Assuming Martha is still there. There it is. Perfect. Now. Awesome. So again, by me doing these readings, I hope it really encourages other people to be like, yo, maybe I can get into tarot too, and maybe it doesn't have to be this thing where I have to like be psychic and stuff like that. I do not claim to be any more psychic than you are, you know? So, all right. Let's charge it up. We got it, Martha. Perfect. Thank you so much, Martha. Oh, wow. Ooh, this is exciting. All right. Charging it up with the beautiful green Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal. The card that we have pulled for Martha, thanks to our Patreon supporters, is the Star, which is card number 17. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to open this up into the booklet from the Ananda Tarot deck. And we will see what this card has to say. And again, when we do these, again, this is a chance for us to just be open to a message that the universe has for us to be able to have a mirror held up, for us to be able to learn from. Wow, you know what? I have honestly... I don't want to say I've never pulled this card, but it's quite possible that I have never pulled this card before in like all my years doing tarot reading, which is bizarre to think about. But it's quite possible because I just know it's not a card that I'm familiar with, which is exciting for me too, right? Because it's also like, hey, this is a reading for all of us too. Yo, Ryan, I see you tuned in right now. Ryan, if you want to sign up for the Patreon while you're tuned into this broadcast, please feel free, and we'll add it on as a bonus reading for the community. Or, dude, I can always do a private reading for you as well. And Ryan, thank you so much for being a cosmic badass, dude. Looking forward to being able to get you some of those Lumerians. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Let's read a little bit more about what this card has for us. And for anybody here, if you would like to keep signing up for the Patreon, absolutely, please feel free. Like, let's see if we can reach our goal of 125 Patreon signups by the end of this broadcast. That would be super, super bonus. And again, just thank you, everyone. So, looking at this card here, what do we got? This is like a very complex card, like seriously. So, wow, where do I even start with this card? Trippy, psychedelic. All right, so we have this beautiful form of a woman, and we have what appears to be a sphere, which is also probably the earth, and it's kind of got like a little bit of like clouds kind of swirling around in it. And then she's surrounded by like a mandala, but the mandala is almost like it's weird. It's not broken. It's just kind of like a pattern that's kind of in front of it too. Like the night sky is a pattern that's overlaying this beautiful mandala. And then there's kind of like this pillar to the left of it, and the woman, she's got like these like almost like they're kind of like cracks, but they're also like kind of like branches and veins kind of on her chest. Very hard to see, but if you see there, I can kind of hold it closer. And she's got her eyes closed. Very, very beautiful image. And yeah, just like in this like serene, and she's got this headband. You can see it. She's got like this little tiny headband on her head. And again, this mandala just kind of like shining out from around her head. And then there's like a little ball down there, and there's like a little plant down there too. So this is a very, very, very interesting card. I'm actually really excited to be able to see this. Yeah, Alicia is saying Mother Earth. Yeah, very much. This is very much like a Mother Earthly type card. So again, this card is the Star. So give me 2 seconds here. We're gonna read from the book. So again, and yeah, Alicia, like absolutely, again, for everyone, if you're here, this message is for you. This message is for us. So for those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. Let's get right into this. Thank you again, Patreon supporters. Thank you again, Martha. I love you guys and girls. Children of the Earth. That's what we are. Go team. All right. 17. The Star. The Image. A mandala radiates out of everything from the ecstatic consciousness of a courageous female being who appears to be above worldly trivialities, meaning, as a result of striving for higher spiritual values, which is represented by the image of the tower, the mind reaches new dimensions of consciousness. The star symbolizes advancing into deeper levels of existence. Connections within the cosmic world order become understandable on the new level of recognition. I'm going to reread that. Connections within the cosmic world order become understandable on a new level of recognition. Superior laws of nature are recognized and thereby made useful. For the mind as the center of unlimited possibilities, everything is doable. However, this is a contingent upon the condition that it accommodates the rules and demands of earthly life and attaches itself to them. It is through the power of limitations that are part of the conditions of material existence that the phenomenon of the outer world of appearance is made possible. Every form dissolves itself with the very concept of the infinity of the cosmos. Through the limitations of its form, world, earthly existence offers space for any number of creations. Can we read that? Through the limitations of its form world, earthly existence offers space for any number of creations. Within human existence, we are given as many possibilities as we are limitations. We can use both in order to reach our goals. Foremost, however, our priority is to attain deeper insight into higher levels of connection, in order to broaden our field of vision. Through the powers of recognition, the ability to think ahead, and imagination, we are able to create our lives as we wish. Contact with our higher selves allows Contact with our higher selves allows an opening to our perceptive abilities and gives us the hope and confidence to find strength and insight, to make certain circumstances better, or to bring forth fundamental change. I'm going to reread that. Contact with our higher selves allows an opening to our perceptive abilities and gives us the hope and confidence to find strength and insight and to make certain circumstances better or to bring about fundamental change. Besides the broadening of our own horizons, the star symbolizes the search for final truth. In the consciousness of a spiritual reality, we are able to discover life as a miracle, which holds everything at the ready that its inhabitants need to live. By gaining the insight that we only limit ourselves when we view limitations as obstacles instead of possibilities, we are laying the cornerstone for the realization of our dreams. The star is one of the cards in which the traditional meaning of the tarot prophesizes a happy, positive outcome. Astrological significance: Mercury, Neptune at midheaven, Aquarius. Keywords: seeing the bigger picture, confidence, spirituality, understanding, broadening consciousness, healing wisdom, ability to plan and look ahead, hope, exchange of information, broadening one's horizon, cosmic intelligence, life, purpose, aesthetic sensitivity, imagination, success. Traditional meaning: communication, advisor, goal-oriented, love of truth, clarity, connection to love and wisdom, deep insights into great connections, promising circumstances, careers as calling, futuristic thinking. Wow. Wow, that is such a cool card. Very, very cool. You know, it's interesting because, like, again, this reading was made possible because Marley updated his Patreon pledge. And this card reminds me of DMT. Like, this card reminds me, and I'm not going to just make this reading about DMT, so if you're not familiar with DMT, not a problem. But this card, like, really, really just, like, this card is very much like an embodiment of, like, what the self-realized human can be, what the self-realized human is here to become. And so this card, again, for you to be able to receive this, Martha, and for anybody else tuning into this, again, for those of you on Instagram, jump over to the YouTube by swiping up on my Instagram story to tune in. This card is a very, very powerful card that really, like, celebrates what we are here to be, what we are here to become, and what we already are. This card is really reminding us that, like, the hope of, like, what it is that we are here to achieve already exists right now, because it's not separate, because it is always one. And this card is very much about being able to, like, invite the broadening of our consciousness to unfold and to really deepen our understanding of, like, how this universe functions. And with this card, like, I really see it as a celebration of this creative plane that we live on. And it's kind of interesting because this card kind of talks about the idea that, again, you know, like, here within this earth, we have infinite possibilities. And yet those possibilities are made possible because of the limitations. And so what I mean by this is that, like, if you look at a mandala, and it's interesting because you can experience this within, like, graphic programs right now. But if you look at a mandala, which again is, like, visually here on this card, like, a mandala can become something entirely different and something entirely new, but just by tweaking, like, one little thing, by making one little adjustment, and then it fractals into the whole and it affects the whole. And when I see this being brought through in nature, through all the different flowers, through all the different life forms. And so, like, when you think about a flower, it's like, why aren't all the flowers the same? They all follow a similar pattern. But when we tweak just one little thing, when one little thing changes, it could be the environment, it could be, you know, just like the soil. I don't even know exactly how it works, but obviously, like, the DNA of each flower is just slightly different. And it births a whole new reality. It births a whole new pattern. It births a whole new mandala. And so with this card, it's really, like, inviting us to be able to, like, make the most out of any situation, to birth as much as we can out of any circumstances. Like, who says that, like, one circumstance is only supposed to yield one lesson or one opportunity of growth? If we really dig deep, we can allow a single circumstance to dramatically like fractal into our entire being and change who we are. You know, and again, that's why like something, again, like I think of something like related to an experience, a psychedelic experience, and not just like using DMT or using mushrooms or something like that, but something very much where you like touch your soul, when you see your soul, when you see who you are. And this can be through dreams, this can be through meditation, this can be through a sunrise, this can be through looking into the eyes of a lover. Something as profound and as simple as that can like spark the star inside of us, and it just ignites our whole being. It ignites our whole life. It ignites our whole perception, and it changes not only how we see the world, but how we see ourselves, and how it see ourselves in terms of like who we are here to become. So again, this card is really about being able to see the bigger picture. I really see this card as being able to be like kind of like Neo in the Matrix, the card in which we can very much just like begin to see the code of all that is, and to not see it as separate, but to see it as an extension of us, to see it as a part of who we are, and to deeply understand it. And that's the thing, like, okay, I'll just say this. This is a huge thing. And Witchy, thank you so much for joining in. Witchy, if you wanted to go to my Instagram story, swipe up, and you can join in on YouTube. There's a lot of people tuned in on YouTube right now. With this card, it really reminds me of this very simple idea that as magical and mystical as this world is, you do not need to understand it all, but to simply be in awe of it. That is what you are here to do. And intuitively, your heart, your soul will understand it. You are not separate. You are not separate from the dynamics that move all of these like hyperdelic spiritual gears of this reality, but to simply be in awe of it and to invite that awe into your being. That expands your consciousness. To see the world through like that childlike wonder in as an adult is such a powerful thing. And so this card is such a powerful card to just like be able to remind ourselves of how beautiful this world is. And when we think of the star, again, like what are we thinking? We're thinking like an astrological body, a sun, the light. And it's really be able to understand that like that is us too. To deeply, deeply, not just from like, oh yeah, I saw it in an internet meme, therefore I know it, that I am one with the universe and the universe is me and as above, so below. Not just to know it, but to deeply feel it. To deeply feel it in your being, to deeply feel it in your heart, to deeply feel it in your soul. And when you feel it, you let your soul speak to you. You let your soul say like, aha, here I am, the part of you that is always known. And that's the thing, like when you awaken your consciousness, when you expand the way that you see the world, there's a part of you that will just be able to be like, welcome home. This is so familiar. You have returned, you have remembered, you have pulled back the veil, you have become who you always were. Aha, you were only playing that part where you forgot who you were. Aha, you were only playing the part where you forgot the wisdom. But in fact, the wisdom was always inside of you. And again, with this word, this can be a very healing thing. Because again, I think a lot of the healing that we need to do comes from the illusion that we're separate. Comes from the illusion, or sometimes even the idea that the spiritual realms are somewhere other than here. They're right here. This is the spiritual realm. It is not separate. It is nowhere far away. We are already here. And so again, key words in this: seeing the bigger picture, confidence. Confidence is such a powerful card. So for you, Martha, and for everybody here, Alicia, everybody else here, understand that like you are here to be given the gift of confidence through the power of wisdom. Let the wisdom of the universe that moves through your veins not like feed your ego, but to feed your soul in a way that gives you confidence to be able to be like, oh, like, I know there's like things happening behind the scenes. I know I'm already connected to the future before I even arrive. Ooh, like I know that my soul's here to expand. I know that I'm here for a purpose. I know that I'm here for a difference. I know that I'm here to lead. I know that I'm here to create. I know that I'm here to facilitate. I know that I'm here to bring people together and to ignite the star within other people. That confidence comes through a deep knowing, a deep trust, a deep connection. And again, for a lot of us here, like, we're already woke AF. We're I say that like half, jokingly. There's a lot of people out there who haven't seen that. They have no idea that they're soul. They have no idea that they are infinite consciousness. They have no idea that this reality is much more than it appears to be, right? But they can. And we can hold space for that. And we hold space by that by inviting it into our own being, by giving ourselves the space to see it. When was the last time you walked out your door and you said to yourself, today I'm going to expand my consciousness? Think about that. Usually it just kind of happens. Usually it's not like something we try to do. But what happens if we did? What happens if we intentionally thought to ourselves, how can I expand my consciousness? And again, sometimes expanding that consciousness comes through deep empathy. Sometimes it comes from reading a book. It comes from listening. It comes from looking. It comes from paying attention. That is how expanding consciousness takes place. It doesn't come from numbing ourselves out, nulling ourselves, and disconnecting. It comes from paying attention and to listening and to see what is already there, but to see it with new eyes. And so it's kind of like David Lynch. It's like, if you have a golf ball size consciousness, then you will perceive the world through a golf ball size awareness. If you have a beach ball size consciousness, you'll perceive the world through a beach ball size awareness. Something along those lines, right? What are you doing to expand your consciousness? And so this card is really inviting us. It is really inviting us to see that the process of expanding our consciousness is not just for us. It's for everyone. As you expand, we expand. As we expand, God expands. God is literally expanding through us. Like literally, we are, in a sense, God playing this game where for God it was God. And it's in these human forms. And now it's starting to remember. And now is a very, very exciting time to be alive, because we are a bunch of fractals of God, a bunch of fingers of God, awakening together and celebrating it together and creating together and loving together and literally just like anchoring in these super powerful energies and inviting others to do the same. So again, ability to plan and look ahead, hope, exchange of information, broadening one's horizon, cosmic intelligence, life, purpose, aesthetic sensitivity, imagination, success. So this is a very powerful card. And again, I don't do these readings as like prophetic, but this is a very powerful card to just be able to say like, yes, there is hope. Yes, your purpose is big. Yes, you are here for a reason. And you are here at the very simplest reason, to expand consciousness. And I'll say this, and I say this very intentionally. You are not just here to expand your consciousness. You are here to expand consciousness, in the sense that your consciousness is my consciousness, our consciousness is the collective consciousness. And by us working on ourselves, we work on everyone. And that adds up. And that is why we are here. And that is why it matters. And that is why you matter. And that is why what you do matters. And how can we help lead others towards expanding their consciousness, to awakening the star within themselves? So that's a very, very powerful card. So again, I think Martha, for you to be able to receive this, definitely see this as just, again, like very powerful affirmation, to be able to be like, yes, 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 keep expanding my consciousness. And how can you look? How can you walk out that door tomorrow and be, how am I going to expand my consciousness? By listening, by paying attention, by showing up, by doing the work, by listening to our own hearts, by going outside of our comfort zone, by spending time in nature. All of these little things add up. And each and every single day, we're expanding our consciousness more and more and more. And as we do this, we allow ourselves to bring in more of the gifts that we are here to give. So this is a very, very powerful card. So Martha, if this resonates for you, drop an 1111 in the chat. And for anybody else, and go ahead, explain to us why this resonates with you, or just any gratitude that you want to share. And for anybody else, if this resonates for you, let me know. Medium Joey, hey dude, thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to swipe up on my Instagram story, you can join in on YouTube. That's where you can see like the front camera. Right now I'm talking to my YouTube and Twitch and Facebook audience. And so if you want to join in there, dude, and we are doing some like more team readings. And if anybody wants to get on-air reading or private reading, they can sign up for the Patreon. And I'll post a link for that in the YouTube. You can check that out there. So Joey, go ahead and jump over there when you want. Martha says, thank you so much, 1111. And Placebo also saying, thank you, Martha, as well. Awesome. Yeah, so anybody else, how does this card resonate with you? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. All right, I'll keep an eye open for anybody else leaving comments. Martha says, yes, so much resonate. So yeah, I see like Martha for you. I see this as like that's you. Like that's you in the same sense that that's me, that's her, that's him, that's us. But it is. And like we are so much more than we have been led to believe. And that's a very beautiful thing, because that means there's a lot of mystery to unravel. So awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Ruzane, thank you for tuning in on Twitch. Isaiah, thank you for tuning in on Instagram. If you want to go to my Instagram story and swipe up, you can tune in on YouTube. And thank you again, everyone. And yeah, that was a beautiful card. So good job, team. Good job, team, on holding space to that card. So if you're here for the first time, hang tight. We got a few more readings that we're going to do. So you're getting lots of inspirational insight. Thank you, Bloody Bimbo on Twitch, for tuning in. Martha, if you're tuned in on... If you have me on Facebook or on Instagram, send me a direct message and I can send you the link for the image. So I can send you the picture of the image. So Martha, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and add me. I'm just going to post a link for my Facebook into the chat. So for anybody here, go ahead, add me on Facebook and you can send me a message. And I'll send you the image of this so you can check it out. So again, that reading was made possible thanks to our Patreon supporters who updated their pledge during this broadcast. Again, I would love to be able to invite anybody here. If this is your first time and you enjoy what we're creating together, inviting you to add your support. You know, that's a big thing. I just want to be able to take a moment here to be clear on with the Patreon and everything like that. And I'm saying this because I want to actually be able to like give people here a little bit of insight. When I am like inviting people to the Patreon, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm inviting them. There's a slight difference between me asking for people to sign up for the Patreon versus me inviting them to sign up for the Patreon. Because basically it sends out this message where it's like, yo, like I'm here to do awesome things and create awesome stuff, and this is a celebration and this is shared momentum that we're creating together, and I'm inviting you to be a part of that. And so again, if you're resonating with what we're creating here, I'm inviting you to invest, to cast that energetic vote, however you want to say it. If you can spend $5 on a coffee, then you can also be like, yo, I want to spend like $5 on something that I really care about. And what is it that you care about? Helping shift consciousness, helping make a difference in this world, helping inspire people, helping support fellow creators and leaders, and helping build a community. And still, we got so much more ahead of us as a community. Again, as the Patreon grows, the potentials expand, and there's so much other stuff that I still have, like, that we're working towards as a community. So, sweet. What about the Mercury retrograde on the 31st? Oh, is Mercury going retrograde again? Yes. I love when Mercury goes retrograde. It's so exciting. You just see like everyone's like, oh my god, Mercury. And I love when Mercury goes retrograde, because it's basically just like, well, I hope you got your shit together, because if you don't, it's probably gonna like fly off the loose end. So it's like a good time to just make sure you got your shit together. So all right. The star is supposed to be one of my 2 birth cards and a particular energy that I'm manifesting right now. I like to think I helped pull the energy into this. Very cool not having this. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, good job, team. Good job, team, everyone. So, Bloody Bimbo, thanks again for joining in. Oh, Ruzane, thank you for joining in as well. Bloody Bimbo, thanks for joining too. Holding space. I honestly love retrograde. Don't you? Isn't retrograde so fun? All right, we're gonna do this next reading for Alicia. Again, as we're doing this reading, for anybody here, if you would either like to sign up for the Patreon or update your Patreon pledge, please feel free to do so. We're working on getting up to 125 Patreon supporters. Thank you again to the Patreon supporters already signed up, and for those of you who updated your pledge tonight. This next reading we're going to do is going to be for Alicia. Alicia, leave a comment down below. Let me know that you're still tuned in. And if anybody here wants to jump over to the YouTube from Facebook, I'll post a link for that so you can jump over as well. And this reading will do for Alicia, and then from here, if you guys feel like you want to keep me up for another reading after this, we can do one from the Lightworker Oracle deck. I'm totally cool with that. Like, we've earned it for tonight. And again, and that's like as a result of like you guys adding your support. So thank you. Shout out to all the Aries in the chat. Yeah, everyone here, just leave their sign. Just leave their sign right now. Go ahead, drop your sign in the chat. If anybody wants to guess what sign I am, go ahead. And if you already know, don't tell them. We'll take a moment here. And if you guess, I'll give you bonus points. All right, Alicia is here. So we're going to get ready to move into this next reading for Alicia. And thank you again, Alicia, for adding your support onto the Patreon. Alicia, I'll send you a message through the Patreon, and that will have your discount code. And yeah, we can also just keep in touch there. Add me on Facebook here, and I'll send you a picture of whatever card you get as well. And if you would like to get Light Guardian Crystal, I'll also chat with you about that. All right, yeah, if you're guessing what sign I am, be like, I think you're this. Otherwise, if you're just typing it, then I can't tell if that's what you are or what you're telling, what you think I am. So what do you guys, what sign do you think I am? I mean, obviously it's like a mix of a couple. I feel like my sign's like pretty obvious, actually. And it'll probably make sense once you hear it. And for those of you who are familiar with Zodiac, you'll understand. All right, Alicia, thank you again so much. Cool. So we got some Taurus, some Leo, some Aries in the chat. All right, I'll share that. Guessing Leo, guessing. Okay, we'll get into that in a bit. I'll tell you after we do this reading. Let's get right into this reading for Alicia. So, Alicia, thank you so much for being here. Oh, someone got it. Someone got it right, but they're not in the YouTube chat. So, yeah, some people know my sign already. So, all right, hang tight. I'll tell you my sign after this. Place your bets now. All right, Alicia, let's get ready for this next reading. Thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this. If anybody here would like to sign up, help us reach our goal of 125 Patreon supporters, super appreciated. And the next reading we'll do after this will be like for anyone from the chat, and it will be a Lightworker Oracle deck reading if that's what you guys want. So, all right. Balance, shut up. Spoiling it. All right. Alicia, thank you so much for your support. For everybody here, just drop yourself into that heart space. Take a couple breaths here. Lay off the chat for a second. Everybody here, just take a breath. Take a breath. Thanks, Balance. All right, I'm glad we're all having fun. I'm glad we're smiling. That's the important thing. So just take a moment here. Close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart. Just give yourself permission to smile. Add a little bit of a sway to your body right now. Feel the waters moving through you. Grateful for this moment to be here, to share in this space of inspiration, share in this space of joy and excitement. Alicia, inviting you to bring forth the intention of show me what I need to see. Take a few breaths here, as much time as you need. Really allow that to be spoken from your heart. And when you're ready, Alicia, type now into the chat. And for everybody here, just holding space, holding those vibes. And so with each and every single breath, we become more of who we are. We become more of what we have been, these fractals of the stars. And so we are the wizards of this time, here to bring forth this ancient rhyme to help more and more of us align with the truth that is within. The divinity has always been. And Alicia says now within the chat, and we shall pull the deck to see what the cards have. Awesome. All right. I love there's always like a little like dopamine release when you flip open the card. I feel like that's a lot of people just tune into this. It's like I'm just here for the ASMR and dopamine. Should I try doing my readings more in ASMR voice? I feel like I could. All right, what do we got here? Ooh, that's exciting. Oh, wow. Marley, if you're still here, you're going to get a kick out of this. The card that we have pulled for Alicia, our newest Patreon supporter, is Spheres 7. Very cool. Awesome. Shauna Lee, I see your comment there. If you want to do a private reading with me, you can. That's totally cool. Or I can fit you into the live broadcast today. And we could actually put you in as the next reading during the broadcast if you want. So, Spheres 7. Let me open up the deck here. Shauna Lee, aka Witchy Kind of Woman, is one of our recent Patreon supporters, and she signed up outside of a broadcast. So, Shauna, you have the option of either doing a private reading, or if you want to do it during the broadcast, we could do a next reading for you, Shauna. It's totally cool. It's up to you. If you would prefer a private reading, it's totally up to you. Would you like a private reading, Shauna? Let me know. Shauna, would you like a private reading, or would you like us to do the next reading for you? Because that's totally cool. Either or is fine with me. Private readings, we can usually go like a bit deeper and stuff like that. All right, so yeah, Marley's like, get the fuck out. Another 7. That's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. All right. Very cool. Alicia, my favorite color is blue, she says, and this card is awfully full of blue. All right, Shauna Lee, we're gonna do the next reading for you. Shauna Lee is one of our recent Patreon supporters. So, again, what do we got here? Let me get my blue Light Guardian crystal for you. Light this up, Shauna. If Shauna, do you want to do it private then? It's up to you. It's up to you. So if we do it private, we'll just have to like book that into my schedule. So it would be next week would be the earliest. So it's up to you. Either or is fine. All right. So Sphere 7. What do we got here? So, sorry, Shauna, can you just confirm yes to which? I just need that way so I know. Okay. So this is Sphere 7. So what do we got here? A big, beautiful sphere, and these. What do we got in the sky here? Huh. That's interesting. There's like a wall, but then there's also like these little like mechanical gears. I don't know if you can see those. And then these like other floating spheres. And the big sphere is kind of on this checkerboard. And the big sphere is reflecting its environment. And behind it, you can also see like this like very interesting architecture. There's almost like this like wing that you can kind of see, which is very interesting. And then you can see like the sun is actually reflected in the sphere. So, all right. So Shauna, so you want us to do the next reading for you here. Okay. I'll keep an eye on that. All right. So 7 of Spheres. So this is a very interesting card, and I'm not 100% familiar with this card. So again, this is like still exciting for me. All right. So Shauna, we're going to do the next reading for you, correct? Give me a thumbs up on that. So this reading is for Alicia, and again, as we're doing this reading, if anybody else wants to sign up for the Patreon in the meantime, help us reach our next objective of 125 Patreon supporters, please feel free to do that, and you can do that as we're doing this reading, and we'll keep an eye on that as we go. All right, here we go. So Alicia, open your heart, be able to receive the information and the inspiration from this card, and thank you again for your support. 7 of Spheres. The image. In the background of a crystal ball, which reflects the environment, 6 more balls drift from a deep blue sky out into the cosmos. Meaning, as nature needs its time from seed to harvest to let the fruit ripen, man also needs his time to let ideas and thoughts ripen. Ideas and realizations that are ripe in the truest sense of the word were previously subject to a long and tedious development and selection process. As in all occurrences that concern the outer world, it is similar with the nature of man. Until the individual has developed a mature personality, a long road lies ahead. Not just success and luck, but also the many failures and losses that cross his path. Make him what he is. It is exactly these seemingly difficult, uncomfortable duties that bring about the integration of patience, perseverance, and humility in a positive sense of his being. Someone who has developed true strength of character speaks from the depths of experience, which he has brought to fruition through insight. I'll reread that. Someone who has developed strength of character from the depths of experience, which he has brought to fruition through insight. Without belittling his inner values, he is in a position to put himself in the background and give up his small ego for the bigger picture. Astrological significance: Jupiter, Saturn, septile aspects. Keywords: results from past efforts, respect, meaningful interaction with material values, duration, long developmental processes, chronological events, development of personality. Traditional meaning: patience, slow growth, perseverance, hard work, humility, modesty, maturation process. Very, very cool. I really, really like this card. This is a very, very cool card to be able to talk about. So again, for Leisha, our newest Patreon supporter, and for anybody listening to this is a very, very important card to just remind ourselves that nature has its process. And so the same wisdom that we can get from growing a garden, from planting a seed, by being patient with the way that things unfold, we can be patient with ourselves. And we can bring that patience into our story in a way that's actually inspiring. And so think, what within your life has taught me patience? What within my life has taught me perseverance? What within my life has given me strength of character? And if you look back, the answer to all of those things will be hardship, will be challenge, will be strife, will be something that is often humbling. And so this card is really inviting us to be able to honor that part of our story, to honor that in a place of gratitude, to be able to be like, wow, I am not like stubborn and you know, like upset about like that time when, you know, like sometimes we lose things in order to be able to remember what we have. And sometimes we lose things because they were never meant for us. They were never meant for us to keep. But there was actually the lesson in losing it that we would actually gain what was always meant for us. You know? So you think about the idea of like, say for example, you know, like you might like buy like a new pair of shoes or something like that. And then you're like, yo, these shoes are awesome. These shoes are awesome. These shoes are awesome. Or something like that. And then you like go to the gym and then you switch shoes and then your shoes get stolen or something. And then you spend the entire way home. You have to like take the entire bus ride home and you're like walking and you're like barefoot. And you're just like complaining and you're just like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. This is the worst thing ever. Like, oh, I'm so mad someone took my shoes. I'm so mad someone took my shoes. And then you're like walking along the street. And then you're like walking past a homeless man who's lying there on the ground. And he asks you for some change. And you look at him and you realize that this man has no feet. And suddenly in that moment, you look down at your empty feet with no fancy shoes on them. And you think to yourself, my God, I am fortunate. My goodness, I am privileged. My goodness, I had no right to complain. That was my ego speaking. That was my materialistic idealism speaking through me. And yet here this man is. And he still like, you know, like makes his way through life. And he struggles and he knows humility. He knows hardship. Who am I? Who am I to complain? And suddenly a moment like that humbles you. Maybe the next pair of shoes you buy, maybe they won't be that fancy one. Maybe they'll be something simple. Maybe you'll take that money that you normally would have spent on a fancy pair of shoes and maybe you'll pay it forward. Maybe you'll like bring it as something important. Maybe you'll go out and maybe you'll buy like, you know, like a good pair of socks for that man who has no feet or something like that. So this card is a very, very important card to, again, like that's just like one example, but this card relates to a lot of things. It relates to the idea of being patient, playing the long game. And so for you, Alicia, really reflect, what are the long games that you are playing? What are the things that are only possible for you to achieve through patience? And you know, like maybe that's like schooling, maybe it's some sort of program, it's some sort of investment, something that involves your time, your effort, but you're not just doing it for you. You're doing it because you're honoring your future, and you're honoring what that future can allow you to help give to others. And so when we allow ourselves to invest and to plant the seeds that are going to yield the crops, but to do it in a way that's not just for us, but so that we can feed others, that is a very, very powerful way to be able to honor our patience, to honor the work that we put in, to honor the long developmental process. And so again, you know, like for an example, for me doing this project, doing Paradigm Shift, this is 10 years that I've been doing this. And maybe those 10 years have been so that I can be here right now having this conversation with you. And maybe my soul didn't know that at the time, but it was part of why I did it. And so there may be things within our life where we may kind of think in the moment and be like, why is this taking so long? Yet it invites us to trust, and it invites us to remember that nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. That it is in the process of honoring that rate at which things develop naturally that we can really yield what it is that they are here to deliver. Because again, if you were to like plant a seed and it like starts to grow into a vegetable, and then you're just like, I'm not patient, like this is taking too long, and then you uproot the vegetable, what's going to happen? You're going to have like a pretty measly vegetable. And that vegetable is going to be like, oh, like I wasn't ready yet. Keep me in there. Put me back in the ground. I still have time to grow. And you have time. And I think that's important. So, Alicia, for everyone here, I want to remind you that you have time. The things that are calling patience into your being are only there because the time is there for them to be patient. And that patience is humbling. That patience is perseverance. That patience is love. And so how can we be more patient with each other? How can we actually commit to the slow path? And that's the thing. I'll just say this and we'll get kind of close to wrapping up this card. Again, the traditional meanings: patience, slow growth, perseverance, hard work, humility, modesty, maturation process. This is about really honoring what it means to be mature. And being mature means being okay with the rate at which things are going and trusting in that process. And this is a very powerful idea that, again, you know, you think of the story of the tortoise and the hare. Why did the tortoise win? The hare was faster, but why did the tortoise win? Because the tortoise didn't try to be anything other than itself. It is only through sometimes comparing. When we compare, when we're just like, oh man, that hare is going really fast and I should be like him and that's how I'm going to win, that we usually get, that actually like hurts us. When we compare ourselves to others, that hurts us. It can inspire us, and if we're looking at them from a healthy perspective and to be like, sweet, that's a goal, that's a target, I can work towards that without expecting us to be that necessarily, that's different. But the tortoise only won the race because it was only trying to be what it was. And so if your process is slower, that's only relative to the fact that you're looking at someone who has a different type of process. Slower and faster is all relative. And when you're investing in yourself, 3 years investing in yourself, you know, maybe going to school, maybe getting that degree, but doing something that is going to affect the next 70 years of your life, that doesn't seem like slow at all. That seems like a smart choice. That seems like a wise decision. So this card is really inviting us to be able to think, what are the wise choices we can make? What are the wise decisions we can make? What are the intentionally patient decisions we can make? What are the investments we can make in ourselves right now, knowing that the results will yield and yield and yield over time without having to rush the process, without having to rush the rate at which our seeds grow? So this is a very powerful card that really teaches us about humility. And I think it's kind of, again, almost counterintuitive to what society tries to do. Society tells us, you got to do this, you got to be fast, you got to be sleek, you got to be sexy. When really, nature is just like, I'm going to be nice and slow and steady and humble and patient, but I'm going to be a fucking badass because I know what I am and I'm not trying to be anything other than what I am. So honor the fact that your speed is your speed. You don't have to try to be the speed of what somebody else expects you to do. Your growth is your growth, and every single one of us has like our own unique rate at which we grow. So again, I think this is a very, very powerful card, and for everybody hearing this, I really just want you to invite yourself to honor the rate at which you go. If things were supposed to have gone faster, they would have gone faster. But they didn't. And if they didn't, then that means that they weren't supposed to. Because that means in the process of going the way they were, that there were lessons that were meant to be learned along the way. And if they went faster, maybe you would have went past those lessons without even noticing them. So take the slow walk through the park. Take that slow walk down to the river during the sunrise, during the sunset. Appreciate it. Appreciate the slowness and the humility that comes with being patient and the maturity of doing that. You know, I think it's funny. We look at like, again, the difference between like older people and younger people. Younger people, they might kind of like, you know, like be out in the playground and they're running around, they're having fun, they're splashing in the water, they're playing in the sandbox and everything like that. They go in, they drink their orange juice and they have a sugar rush and then they have a nap or something like that. But did they see the bird in the tree? Did they see the way the grass blew in the wind? Did they see the way the clouds moved across the sun? An older person would have walked around through that same circumstance and their perception would have been different. They would have seen things differently. So understand that that maturity also changes the rate at which we see things, changes the way we see things. And it allows us to be able to receive more of the gifts that are often unseen when we try to rush through things. So really honoring the seeds that have been planted, the times in our past that have resulted, the results that have been yielded from past efforts, and giving ourselves that little bit of a pat on the back to be able to be like, yo, like, thank you, past self, for putting in all that work, for growing myself into the person we are. You're basically just like a vegetable with advanced feelings. I mean, I know I'm feeling this other thing. You're basically like a houseplant with more advanced feelings, which is true, but you are still growing. You are always still growing. And the more you are patient with yourself while still having goals and targets, there's a difference between being patient and stagnant. And when you're patient with yourself and you know that every single day you're moving the needle forward just a little bit, that's a very powerful thing. In transformation, the most powerful transformation often comes from like slow changes over time. You know, you look at how mountains are moved. It comes from water, it comes from erosion, it comes from a slow transformation. Yet do not mistake the power of time. Do not mistake the power of water to be able to move a mountain, to be able to transform rock, right? So it's a very, very powerful metaphor, and a very, very like kind of like, it feels very zen in a way, this card, a lot of the themes in it. And again, it just invites us to be able to like reflect on our values with material things, to really be able to honor the long process, and to be able to like see that everything is just leading us to that next step and we don't have to skip the steps. So awesome. Alicia says, I'm like that now since I'm 61 years old. Always have had patience. There you go, Alicia. So again, I think this card, Alicia, for you, having seen you share that, I think this is just a very powerful card to be able to just like really just say, like, it's kind of like the universe smiling back at you. And the universe is like as equally that young, youthful person running around as much as it is the mature, older person who sees the things that are often unseen. And let yourself be the eyes for the universe. Let yourself be the eyes of gratitude. Let yourself be the eyes of love. See the things that are unseen. Write poetry about it. Write art about it. Help others see it too. If anything, like, I would invite you if you don't already yet, to just kind of like allow your unique perspective to also be a source of inspiration, to be something that can inspire others so that your patience can teach others how to be patient as well. Oftentimes, like patience can only be taught by someone who has learned patience. And that's the thing, like patience is something that can only be learned by being patient. And I think it's one of the most important virtues that we can have, because it also beckons back to deep trust, to deep love, to deep sincerity to the universe. So again, I see this as a very, very powerful card. So thank you, Alicia, our newest Patreon supporter, for adding your support and for helping pull this card. And this is a very simple but very profound message. Patience, slow growth, perseverance, hard work, humility, modesty, maturation process. So again, for you, Alicia, and for everybody here, honor the hard work. Honor the hard work that you have done simply by being you, and celebrate that. And be humble in doing that, and continue to bring forth that story of humility so that others can see the world through those eyes, can see the world. Again, I think humility is also just another word of like deep gratitude as well. So really just honoring what it feels like to be grateful, to have that gratitude, and then knowing that that inspires others to do the same. It's a very, very powerful thing. So I think that's the best, when we can kind of have like that kind of like old soul and young soul kind of merged into one, where we can kind of like go slow when we want to go slow. We can kind of go fast if we choose to go fast, but we have that like deep maturity in us. So I see this card again, Alicia, as being a card that really reflects that matureness within the soul, within your soul, within all souls. So very powerful card. So Alicia, if this card resonates with you in more ways, please feel free to leave those in the chat. Or even Alicia, if you even just want to have a little message from your perspective that you would like to share for the people watching this, maybe a little message of like, you know, like what does being patient mean to you? You know, what does this card mean to you? Please feel free to share that in the chat, and we'll read that so that more people listening to this can hear that message as well. And for everybody else here, if this card resonates with you, if this was like a valuable reminder to be like, yes, slowness, patience, trust the process. Okay, valuable. I needed to hear that. Drop an 1111 in the card and let me know. And yeah, and then we'll allow that comment to be seen as well. So cool, awesome, very, very beautiful card. So Alicia, send me a friend request after this, and I can send you the image of the card, and then you can check it out as well. Cool. And yeah, for anybody else, how does this card resonate for you? Go ahead and let me know. And for those of you who are wondering, what is my zodiac sign? Any last guesses? Now's your chance. If anybody gets it right who doesn't already know what it is, I'll give you some extra shift buttons in your package, in your next package that you order. So awesome. Thank you again, Alicia, for your support on the Patreon. And yeah, I'll send you a direct message. Alicia, can I send you a friend request? Is that okay? That way, so I can just make sure that we're connected on there. And again, if you have any other comments in the chat, please feel free to let me know. Alicia says, this is a message for anybody listening. Patience is a virtue, and I've learned something from that. Awesome, thanks for the reading, was great. I've been watching you for over a year now, and I just decided to join. Aw, thank you, Alicia. That means a lot. I love that. I've been kind of chatting to a few people. I've just been like, hey, thanks for checking out my stuff. How long have you been following me? And some people have been like, yo, I've been following you for like 5 years. I've been following you for like 10 years. And I'm just like, blows my mind, right? Like, man, like there are people who don't follow TV shows for that long. And yet you guys are following me. That means a lot. That means we're doing something right here, team. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. For anybody else here, quick survey. What attracts you to my work? Just curious. I'm asking as a survey question. So awesome. All right. So thank you again, Alicia. Super, super appreciated. And Alicia, I'm going to send you that friend request right now. And then I'll just send you a direct message there. And I'll send you the image I'll take the picture of that right now so I don't lose the card. All right, so Shauna Lee. Is Shauna Lee in the chat? Because I was going to do a reading for her if she is here right now. Otherwise, I'll check in with the chat, and I think we were going to do one more reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck, if that's what you guys wanted. Sean Kana, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name properly, or I apologize for not pronouncing it properly. The readings are collective team readings, and they are free in the sense that they are a reading for anyone tuned in, but we also do specific readings for people when they sign up to the Patreon. And I'd love to be able to get one more Patreon sign up during tonight's broadcast. And yeah, and I still have, I would still be okay to do one more. Thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of the broadcast because we've been doing this for a couple hours, several hours, thousands of views. And what I want to be able to do, I would love to be able to invite anybody else here to sign up for the Patreon. And so Selenia, if you would like a reading, feel free to check out my Patreon, and you can sign up there with a monthly micro donation. It only takes about 3 minutes. When you sign up, you can also get a beautiful Light Guardian crystal, and we'll do a reading for you. Sorry, I'm just responding to messages and still checking to see what do I got here. Awesome. And otherwise, I did say to you guys, if you guys want, because we did have some updates on the Patreon pledges, do you guys want to do a reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck? If you guys want to do a reading for the Lightworker Oracle deck. Rachel asking on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell on my YouTube so that you can get notifications. I don't have a full schedule for my tarot readings just yet. It kind of depends on my week to week. But I do post them ahead of time so that you can get the notification. So if you click the bell icon, then you'll get a notification. So, okay, so for everybody here, if you're tuned into this and it's your first time, please check out my Patreon. That's like something I ask you to do. And if you would like to be able to sign up for that at some point in the future, that is always appreciated. Hey, Tina, one of our Patreon supporters, tuning in on Instagram. Tina, you know the drill. If you want to swipe up on Instagram, you can join in there. And yeah, and so again, the Patreon is a monthly micro donation to help support artists that you appreciate and love. And when you sign up on the Patreon, you can get the discount code for the quest item shop, which also has the items such as the shift buttons and everything. And also, you can get one of these beautiful Lumerian or regular Light Guardian crystals. Actually, I'll show you guys this one. I haven't really shown this during the broadcast. Hey, Arita, thanks for joining in. Arita, if you want to go to my Instagram story and swipe up, you can join in on YouTube. That way, so I'm like talking to that camera and that camera. Check out this one. This is an Auralite 23 Light Guardian crystal. This one would be right up there with one of the Lumerian ones. The Auralite 23, like it looks like the Dark Crystal from Dark Crystal. The Dark Crystal from, what's that show called? The one with the Gelflings. From the Dark Crystal. But the Auralite 23 is actually a crystal that's like the oldest crystal on Earth. It's like amethyst and other minerals, and it's like 1.2 billion years old, and it's found only in America. So for those of you joining in, we're going to do one more reading for the team, but if somebody here wants to do a reading for them personally, then that can be done by you signing up to my Patreon. So even if it's your first time here, go ahead and just subscribe. And subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And you can find a link for that through my Patreon. And we'll just take a couple moments here. I just need a little bit of a break too. I've been going pretty hard. So. Oh, okay. Shauna Lee, you're tuned in again. Shauna Lee, would you like us to do the next reading for you? And if that's the case, I would like to be able to do it from the Ananda Tarot deck. And then if we want, we can do one more from the Lightworker Oracle deck as well. Oh, and by the way, what sign am I? I'm... last chance for guesses. I'm a Cancerian. Cancerian on the cusp of Leo, with Sagittarius and Taurus. So there, now you know everything about me. That explains a lot, right? So I got like the Cancer with like the Sag, like kind of like higher esoteric wisdom, bringing it forward with the Leo and the confidence of the Leo. So like the speaking engagement, the leadership, the live broadcast, but the Cancer being very community oriented, compassionate, and heart centered. So that makes sense, right? We are what we are. All right. 1111 balances. I joy what you do and support because I relate to you so much and respect how genuine and persistent you are. And because I'm optimistic for this community you have and are creating to get shifty. Awesome. Thank you so much, 1111 balance. Right? Yeah, we'll create a meme for get shifty with the Rick and Morty stuff. All right. Shauna Lee, are you gonna just stay tuned in on Instagram opposed to the YouTube? That way, so I just know which camera to look at. Yes. Morphic's like, oh, you're on the cusp. That makes sense. Yeah, July 18th. So yeah, I'm cusp Cancer Leo, not just regular Cancer, Leo cusp Cancer, which is a little bit different, right? So it's like fiery and stuff too. So I got like that fire water, which is why I'm very like kind of like male female energy oriented. All right, okay, Shauna, I'm gonna do the reading for you, and I'll do it. Shauna is on the Instagram, so I'm gonna have to be like talking here. Leo Cusper, that explains a lot. Thanks, Arito. All right, so as we're doing this, again, I would love to be able to invite us, anybody here. Let's reach our Patreon goal of 125 supporters by the end of this broadcast. So I'm not going to go to sleep until we get 125 Patreon supporters. And so this next reading is going to be for one of our newest Patreon supporters, Shauna Lee. So thank you, Shauna Lee, who's tuned in on Instagram. We're going to do this reading for you from the Ananda Tarot deck. And so again, as we're doing this, yeah, I'm willing to stay up until we get to 125, or like halfway to 150, halfway based on 100 of our Patreon goal. So again, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to sacrifice an extra hour of sleep just to be able to earn that for the team. So if anybody here, if you guys have been following me for like 5 years, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes. You can sign up for $3, $5, $1 million. It's all the same. And again, when you sign up, you can also get a beautiful Lumerian or regular Light Guardian crystal. The Lumerian is available at the $11 level, and the regular ones are available at 3, 5 levels as well. And yeah, with that said, let's get right into this next reading for Shauna Lee, aka Witchy Kind of Woman on Instagram. So Shauna Lee, thank you so much for your support, and thank you for joining us during this late night tarot reading broadcast. So if anybody here is signing up for the Patreon, go ahead and let me know in the chat, and then we can just kind of like keep an eye open for it. Oh man, I'm running out of tea. That means that I can't stay up all night long. I have to get up early for hockey tomorrow. It's already 1 a.m. Technically, I should already be asleep, but that's okay. Okay. All right, Shauna Lee, thank you so much. So again, what I invite you to do is to begin connecting with your heart, connecting with your, just that heart space and a place of gratitude. So for everybody here, stop typing in the chat just for a moment. Straighten up your spine, connect with your heart. Just take a moment here to connect with your breath. Gentle inhales and gentle exhales. Be in that space of gratitude, space of excitement, that space of joy, allowing yourself to be open to the messages that the universe has for you, has for us. Shauna Lee, I invite you to align with the intention of show me what I need to see. Take a few moments to be in that space. And when you're ready, Shauna Lee, you're going to type now into the chat, and then we will pull the card for you. I'm going to charge it up here with a little bit of flowetry. And so, as the stars rise, so do we, as we continue to remember all that we have been, to shine forth our light from the wisdom of our heart, to change this world through the magic of our art. So for all of those who are here during this broadcast, I thank you for being a part of this dance as we make it last. To bring forth this magic, to bring forth this love, to bring forth the wisdom that comes from above and within and without. Remember what it's about. We are here to bring forth the love. And have no doubt. So when Shauna Lee's ready, she'll type now into the chat. And we will pull this next card for her. There it is. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Shauna Lee. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube if you wish. And yeah, thank you again. For everyone who's just tuned into this, go ahead and just drop me an 1111 in the chat. I just want to see how many people we got tuned in right now. So, ooh, this is exciting. See, this is like so holographic. All right. Speaking of cancers, the card that we have just pulled for Shauna Lee, for the team, is the Moon card, aka the Cancerian card. So I'll show it to both cameras here. Shauna Lee is tuned in on Instagram, so I'm going to be kind of like showing it to both cameras so you can see. Give me 2 seconds here as I open this deck, open up the card to that. The Moon card, very, very cool. Yeah, my hockey's at, I have to get up pretty early for hockey. I have to be up at like 7 a.m. and it's currently 1 a.m. So that's all right. So again, we'll keep doing this reading. You guys will tell me when to go to sleep after we get a new Patreon sign up. So once we get one more Patreon sign up, then we can do some more bonus readings, and then I'll go to sleep. If anybody here has already signed up for the Patreon and you want to update your pledge or increase your pledge, that's totally an option as well. All right. Beautiful energy, says Shauna Lee. All right. So the Moon card, looking at this card, what do we have? So for those of you looking on YouTube and Instagram, so we literally have this giant moon high up in the sky, and this little cute crab, the cutest crab you have ever seen, kind of looks like he's kind of like holding up the moon or kind of like worshiping it with his little crab claws, cute little crab hands, and his cute little crab legs are like above the ocean with these waves crashing. And in the moon, you can actually see the Pisces energy. You can see like the two fish kind of swimming in the moon with these beautiful stars up above it, and these beautiful rich blues and whites in the waves with the gradient across the sky into the dark heavens. So all right, I'm going to read here the Moon card. All right. Thank you again, team. Let's do this. Let's get one more Patreon sign up and let me go to bed. It's cool. No, it's all right. All right. Okay. So, Shauna Lee, for everyone here, just be open. We're going to read this card. Listen. The Moon, the image. As an intermediary between the powers of the conscious and the unconscious, a crab climbs from the dark waves towards the light. Meaning, now that the cornerstones for realization of dreams have been laid, the moon gives us the capability of channeling the strength of our imaginary inner world into another form. Beside the ability to imagine, the card represents the combination of night and day, conscious and unconscious. The moon lets us recognize that all life has a soul, and gives us the ability to breathe some of our own soul into the creations of our fantasy. I'm gonna reread that. The moon lets us recognize that all life has a soul, and gives us the ability to breathe some of our own soul into the creations of our fantasy. Regardless of whether or not various forms are separated in the outer world, on a soul level, we are all connected to all living beings, as if by an invisible thread. It's very powerful. The journey to the depths of our soul brings us into contact with the archetypal world of images of the collective subconscious. This represents the storehouse that is connected to the original source from which material forms of existence go forth. Here we are confronted with the creations of our most deeply buried fears. Excuse me. which we have to recognize and heal. We are also confronted with our deepest yearnings, impressions from the outer world, and our deeply hidden wishes. Beyond the limitations of our psyche, our soul joins with the ocean of universality that dissolves all limitations, the limitations of possibilities as well as the limitations of experience. The power of the subconscious gives the soul the power of imagination by breathing life into its creations of fantasy. Deep delving into the shadowy world of the subconscious images found on the threshold between truth and betrayal gives us the experience that our reactions and ways of acting are based on our subconscious programming. Seemingly unfounded ideas, past experiences, and inner desires permeate our world. Whether the impressions that the individual soul has are based on the strengths of imagination or if they result from the objective experience of outer reality, the fact is that the individual experiences them as real. It is necessary to decide if we are going to live the intuitive side of ourselves or if we are going to let deceptive images of subconscious fears pull us into the edge of the void. The moon is about expressing our feelings and awakening the soul from its deep sleep in order to fulfill our dreams and let them come true. Astrological significance: Moon, Neptune in 12th house, Pisces. Keywords: visionary, thinking, creative power, psychic powers, fertility, fulfillment, perceptive abilities, connection to the world of the soul, melancholy, imagination, collective unconscious, connection to reality, individual reality, dream interpretation, trust, intuition, fantasy, cyclic changes, love of truth. Traditional meaning: the unconscious, sensitivity, helping and healing, creativity, sympathy, devotion, human warmth, subconscious longing, precognition, the void of the soul, illusions, buried abilities, moodiness, rhythm of life, dream world. Wow. So this is a very, very cool card. Shauna Lee, just let me know that you're still here in the chat. Just leave a comment here and we'll read, we'll just kind of interpret this a little bit more. Give me a second here. Right. So much Cancer energy. All right. 1 second. So yes, this is a very, very powerful card. You're right, Shauna Lee. And again, Shauna Lee, for someone whose name is witchy kind of woman, I think this is a very powerful card to receive. And obviously for someone who's already like in tune with the cycles and in tune with the moon and in tune with the waters, this card is like really reminding us of, I love this part that it says that the idea that like we can bring soul into this world, that we can literally breathe soul into this world, into the things that we touch, into the things that we create. And so I think with this card, knowing that this is card like for you, Shauna, but for everyone here, this is a very powerful card to be able to like invite us to like see our everyday life as ceremony, to see our everyday life as magic, to see our everyday life as literally being that like, you see the moon as almost, a lot of people, it's interesting, a lot of people even think about the idea that like souls like are like almost from the moon, or sometimes they say it's from the sun, but it's kind of like this idea that like the moon is often represented of the soul world. And so it's like we are like a voice for the moon, we are a voice, we are conduit, we are kind of like that intermediary between like the kind of the unseen and the seen. And again, the idea that the moon lets us recognize that all life has a soul and gives us the ability to breathe some of our own soul into the creation of our fantasies. So again, I think this card for you, Shauna Lee, is really just like honoring the power that you have to be able to carry the fantasies of your mind into this world, to be able to bring your visions to fruition, which is a very powerful thing to be able to think of, and to also be able to check in with yourself and to be able to like make sure that you're still staying grounded, and to make sure that like your own unconscious images and fears and perceptions aren't taking hold of the programming that is determining your perception of reality. And not to say that this is, but it's more so also to be able to understand the fact that like this is something that others can commonly experience. The idea that it says seemingly unfounded ideas, past experiences, and inner desires permeate our world. Whether the impressions that the individual soul has are based on the strength of the imagination or if they result from an objective experience of outer reality, the fact is that the individual experiences them as real. So again, what I see with this card, I see this card as really kind of like acknowledging the idea that like from your wisdom, Shauna Lee, you're able to kind of like see people sleepwalking. You're kind of able to see people kind of like living in the program of their subconscious, and that's how they kind of relate to the world. That's how they move about the world. But you yourself kind of have like this like higher perception, this high, you're kind of like outside the game. You very much, and again, not to say like, I'm not saying what you are not, but I'm just kind of like intuitively riffing here. But it's very much like this idea of saying, you know, like if we have this wisdom, how do we bring it forth into this world? How do we bring it forth through intention? How do we bring it forth through creation? How do we bring it forth through ceremony? And how can we bring it forth, most importantly, through service, through helping and healing? Again, words in here: creativity, sympathy, devotion, human warmth, subconscious longing, precognition, the void of the soul, illusions, buried abilities, moodiness, rhythm of life, dream world. So this is like a very powerful card to be able to say that like we, you, us, like we are literally like a voice for the void. We are literally, again, you know, kind of like between two worlds at any given time. And like all souls can be, but not all souls are, because that is not what all souls are here to do. And so for you, again, with a person whose like name is literally like witchy kind of woman, it's like really just, this card is really just kind of reminding you of what you're here to do. And you're here to kind of be able to like look into the subconscious waters, see what is like kind of like affecting the way in which others are navigating this world, and to be able to help heal it. Exactly like you're saying, you're like, I'm a healer healing myself. It's very powerful. That's very important to be able to do. And so it is necessary, as it says, it is necessary to decide if we are going to live the intuitive side of ourselves, or if we are going to let deceptive images of subconscious fears pull us to the edge of the void. So with this, it's like really checking in with ourselves and being able to acknowledge, observe, and be able to like pinpoint where our subconscious fears are showing up within our reality, and to be able to like dive deep into those waters, to be able to transmute them, but to also be able to invite more of our intuitive side in, to be able to like deepen our connection with our waters, with our own heart. The moon is about expressing our feelings and awakening the soul from its deep sleep in order to fulfill our dreams and let them come true. So it's interesting because like this is the thing. Like when we are run by our subconscious programming, it's very much like we're sleepwalking. You know, like it's kind of like we're being controlled. We're being controlled by like our subconscious. We're being controlled by our expectations, by our fears, by our interpretations. But this card is like really encouraging us to be able to like snap ourselves out of that deep sleep in order to be able to fulfill the dreams and let them come true. So again, this card, it really invites us to be able to do this by being able to tap in with our waters and to be able to ask ourselves, you know, like, what are the feelings that I'm here to express? What is the art that I'm here to create? What are the events that I'm here to facilitate? And oftentimes, one of the greatest ways that we can help heal ourselves is by helping heal others, you know? And I think that's kind of the thing, is that sometimes we think that like, oh, I have to be like, you know, like this much healed in order to be able to show up to help others. But sometimes our healing comes through helping others. It comes by being able to say like, you know, like my work is not my work alone. And my work is actually giving me the empathy to be able to know how to relate to others who are also deprogramming their subconscious programming, who are also being able to dive deep into their own waters of their own heart, of their own dreams. And so I think like with this, it's really inviting you, Shauna Lee, to like ask yourself, what are your dreams and how can you help them come true? Like, what are your dreams? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do for community? What do you want to do as an artist? What do you want to do as a healer? What would it feel like to facilitate an event? What would it feel like to do a full moon ceremony or a new moon ceremony coming up? Something like that. What would it do to like invite other people, to start creating like a little bit of a community, to start connecting with those other people, to start learning from other people, to approach this task collectively, not just individually? Because there's a lot of like subconscious programming that is affecting this culture, that is affecting the society. And you do not have to think that it is all up to you. You only have like what you have. You only have a perception of the puzzle. And so sometimes to just think like, yo, I got to deprogram like all of culture by myself, like, not necessarily. You start with yourself, but you do it as a team, and you do it by shedding light on it, shining the light of the moon through the waters on the subconscious programming. And also, again, reminding that the subconscious programming is in itself like still love, is in itself still light, but when left unchecked, it can kind of begin to take control. And so we have to really check in with ourselves and be able to be like, you know, any fears that we may be like thinking, or not to say that any fears that we may have, those are often coming from like subconscious things. So when we like take the time to look into those, and we take the time to dissolve them, and we take the time to work with them, and we take the time to share them, and to be heard, and to be listened, and to listen to others who may be going through their own thing. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, sometimes like our healing will come from listening to someone else who has gone from something similar, and they can be like, this is how I did it. And we might not always know how to do it. Like, our healing, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Asking for help is actually like an act of self-love. And you asking for help may be an important part of someone else's journey, because it may be a part of that person's journey to help you. And until you ask for that help, that person didn't actually receive what you were actually like there to be able to help them see. Shauna Lee in the Instagram says, I always thought I couldn't contribute until I was fully healed. And I think that's a very noble thing to think. And I don't think there's any shame in thinking that, because I think it's like, again, it's you saying that you care about what you bring. You care about being able to show up. But I think like any good witch is going to have her own healing to do. Any good witch is going to go through their own process of shadow work. And just because it's still something that's unfolding, it may be something that's going to unfold for quite some time. Not trying to put any expectation on it. But again, it's the idea that like where there's healing, there's also invitation for human warmth. There's invitation for human connection. And it is through the celebration of our collective healing that you begin to find more of yourself, that you begin to like allow yourself to practice holding space for others. And like, that's such a powerful thing when you realize that like your healing actually comes simply by you holding space for someone else's healing. And through them healing, it actually helps you heal. And you're just like, and it can almost kind of be something that happens like behind the scenes. It can almost kind of be happening like kind of like this like these like subconscious knots are just kind of like slowly becoming unraveled by you just like showing up and helping others. So again, key words in here: visionary thinking, creative powers, psychic powers, fertility, fulfillment, perceptive abilities, connection to the world of soul. And again, I think it's interesting that one of the words in here is melancholy. Like, what is melancholy? Melancholy can often be thought of as kind of like an overabundance of emotion, you know? And so sometimes like that overabundance of emotion can come from just kind of like so much like stuff just kind of like building up over time that we need to, that like maybe, you know, like we need to just kind of like pour it out. Like, our cup is so filled with emotions that we just need to kind of like pour it out. And that can be something that we can do individually, but at the same time, it can also be something that can be done with a community, with a collective, with a covenant, you know? Anything that you are carrying, you are not meant to carry it alone. There are things that you can carry alone, but you don't have to carry it alone. And there is no shame in being able to like ask for help and to say that I am healing. To say that I am healing is also to say I am brave as a soul. I am brave as to say I am healing is also to say I am brave as a soul. to be able to say that, like, as a soul, I came here to carry this. I came here to transmute this. So like, I kind of said this in a previous reading, but for you, Shauna Lee, if you didn't hear this part, I really just want to be able to like take a moment here, like on behalf of consciousness, to like acknowledge your bravery as a soul. If there is something that you are healing through, that is nothing to be ashamed of. That is actually something to be applauded, because that means that you as a soul came here with the courage and you signed up for it in a way that was brave. Like in a way that, you know, like the universe is just like, okay, here's your contract for coming to Earth, and yeah, we could really use some more volunteers to transmute some of this shadow work. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. How do you feel? Do you want to volunteer for this? And you're just like, well, I already had like a lot of things on my plate, but if you need me to do it, I can do it for you. And then the universe is just like, wow, thank you. We really appreciate that, because every single contribution counts. Thank you for helping transmute this entire shadow work on behalf of the collective. And then you kind of make that contract, and the universe is just kind of like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So on behalf of the universe, Shauna Lee, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, because again, the fact that you're going through healing only means that you are brave enough to be able to transmute whatever it is you are healing. And I think the word healing oftentimes has like this negative stigma. Like we don't want to admit that we're healing, because that admits that we're wounded. It admits that we're like hurt. But again, you know, it's like the cracks are where the light shine through. And so you're becoming like more of who you are because there's more of these cracks. Because there's like more of these parts of yourself that you are learning how to shine light through, that you are learning how to heal, and you are learning and you are gaining the wisdom of empathy. You are gaining the wisdom of being able to look and be like, yo, I've seen some of those deep subconscious waters. I've dived deep, and I have like the courage to know that you can dive deep too. Like you might be saying that to someone else who's going to be going through their own healing work. The fact is, no one goes through this life without doing some sort of healing work, without facing some sort of trauma, without facing some sort of a deprogramming of some sort of subconscious habit, behavior, belief, expectation, programming. So again, trust, intuition, fantasy, cyclic changes, love of truth. I really see this again as like a very powerful thing. I think trust is such a powerful word in this. And I want you, Shauna Lee, I want you to give yourself permission to trust that things are happening for a reason. And you may not feel like you're where you want to be, but trust that you're where you need to be. And trust that it's taking you to where you are going. And I think as a friend, as someone who's like a part of the community, sometimes we just need that other person to be able to say like, like, your path is still ahead of you. Only look back to see how far you have come. But where you are right now is exactly where you need to be in order to get to where you are going. And where you are going is exciting. And where you are going is a celebration. Where you're going is full of like excitement that can be shared. And there is joy there, and there is magic there, and there is like, again, you know, just like all sorts of human celebration there. And I think when you understand that like that is what you're moving towards, suddenly you see where you are now as merely a stepping stone. You see it as another task for your soul to accomplish, because your soul is capable of accomplishing it. And again, it might be something that can unfold over time. So I really invite you to just be patient with yourself, to really practice like being in this deep space of love for yourself, and to just be able to be like, I am strong, I am compassionate, I am courageous, I am divine, I am love, I am a healer, I am a conduit. You know, I am that which dissolves the illusion. All of these things. The moon is about expressing our feelings and awakening the soul from its deep sleep in order to fulfill our dreams and let them come true. So Shauna Lee, if you feel that there's like a part of your soul awakening, that's beautiful. And then know that it is always in a constant state of awakening. And that is what you are here to do. You are literally here to awaken your soul, to move out of the sleep, to move out of slumberness into wakefulness. And again, it's interesting because we think of the word awake. To awaken our soul literally acknowledges that like there's a part of it that has to die. And die doesn't mean always like a negative thing. Die just means like sometimes it means letting go of, moving beyond, cutting the cord, transmuting, alchemizing, healing, right? So as you awaken your soul, the only way that you can awaken your soul is to move not just beyond what you were, beyond what you are, but move through it. And to be able to do that in celebration. It may be hard, but if you can bring in gratitude, like seriously, this is such a powerful life hack. If you can bring in gratitude to the most challenging of circumstances in your life, that changes your reality. That sends a message to the universe and says, they got it. They got the gift. They got what we were trying to send them. They understand now that what we were trying to do was nothing. We were never trying to bully them. We were only helping them become more of who they are, to have a deeper empathetic connection with the soul of the world, and to be able to give them the empathy and the wisdom that this experience was meant to give them. Something was birthed out of that experience. And so, Shauna says, thank you so very much. This is a part of my soul awakening. Absolutely, absolutely, Shauna Lee. Thank you so much. So yeah, so again, I think this card, in addition to just acknowledging like where you are going, it's also acknowledging like your potential. It's acknowledging that like every single person here tuned into this, if you're tuned into this, you're some kind of witch. And I mean that in like the most like optimistic way, in the way that like you are like a bridge between worlds. You are here to bring forth the consciousness of higher realms into this reality. You are bringing forth the ancient wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, the wisdom of like the truth that is inside all of us into this world. And how you do that is through creativity, is through art, is through fulfillment, is through intuition, is through fantasy, is through imagination. And so I think for you, Shauna, I think it's really important for you to like create a little bit of a list and write down, you know, like, what are the things that I am most excited to create? And just go crazy with it. Like literally start writing things out and be like, yo, I want to create local meetups. I want to like make some awesome art. I want to create some inspirational Instagram posts. I want to build some community. I want to do live broadcasts. I want to be able to share my story. 100%, Shauna Lee, 100%. When you choose to share your story in whatever form you do, and I encourage you to do it, there will be someone who will hear your story and they will say, wow, thank you. I needed to hear that more than you could possibly know. And so know that your story is not just your own, and your story is actually medicine for someone else out there who you may not even know yet. But it is there to serve you and them. And you're going to hear that someday, and suddenly it's going to click, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, it's all worth it. Because it was never just about me. And it was always about us. And I am proud of who I am for moving through with the courage of this soul. And this lesson has taught me how courageous my soul is. So again, this is a very powerful card, bringing forth the wisdom of the moon, the soul power of the moon. And yeah, encouraging us to be that cute little crab. Look at that little crab holding us up there. Shauna says, absolutely, I totally get that. I do want to share my story. Awesome, Shauna. And Shauna, again, you know, part of what I do is I help support people in doing that. So if that's something we want to chat a little bit more about later, absolutely, let me know. You know, that's a big part of like what I'm working towards, is just being able to help like more people get their voice out there, share their stories, and create this bigger ongoing archive of our shifting consciousness collectively. So Shauna Lee, thank you for helping pull this card for the team. This is a very, very powerful card. For everybody else here, let me know how this resonates with you. Drop an 1111 in the chat if that resonated with you, or just as a sign of gratitude. And even just let me know, how did this resonate with you, or what are your thoughts on this card? We can just chat about it for another minute. And Shauna, go ahead if you want to express any other gratitude or just any messages that you want to share. Oh, Shauna, thank you so much. Shauna says, thank you so very, very much. You have me crying in gratitude. that Cancerian power, yes. Oh, thank you, Shauna. I appreciate that. It, like, makes me kind of like well up a little bit too. So thank you as well. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Shauna. And absolutely, Shauna, keep in touch. You know, please feel free to like send me a message tomorrow and just kind of like, you know, let me know, like, you know, like where things are moving forward and how things are progressing. More than happy and excited to be able to hear that. So we are all here for very important magical things, and there's always a purpose to what we were doing. So, all right, Shauna Lee, thank you again. Thank you. All right, for everybody else here, 11-11 balance, dropping the 11-11s. Morphic, dropping the 11-11s. Marley, dropping the 11-11s. Thank you so much. Alicia, dropping the 11-11s. Thank you again. I'm glad, like, right? Like, we pulled that card for Shauna Lee, but I'm sure there are multiple people here that are just like, okay, yeah, like, I needed to hear that too. So, beautiful. Thank you so much. Shauna Lee says, so much love to you. Thank you, Shauna Lee. Super appreciated. I'll take a picture of that card, Shauna Lee, and I'll send you the write-up for that. That way so you can read it again on your own. And I guarantee if you kind of like read that in like a day from now or even a week from now, it will probably make even more sense. So, all right, team. Thank you so much for joining in. What time is it right now? It is 1:17. So that means that... yeah, I theoretically we can do one more reading. Theoretically I should also go to bed. It's really the case. But at the same time, I'd love to be able to stay up a little bit longer to be able to get one more Patreon sign up. That way so we can reach our goal of 125. Or if anybody here wants to update their Patreon pledge again, please feel free to do that. And yeah, and you guys let me know. Like, I mean, again, we can still do sweet, awesome. I'll do that for you, Shauna Lee. I'll send you the image for that after the broadcast. And we still can do the Lightworker Oracle deck reading. So yeah, Alicia's saying like don't burn out. So I know, right? I'm pretty good at like maintaining energy, but honestly, like sometimes, like seriously, when I do these broadcasts, like I'm usually pretty like good at like keeping it going, but it usually doesn't hit me until like a couple days afterwards. So thanks. I love how people are just like, go to bed, Brendan, go to bed. Awesome. All right, so for everybody here, if we can get one more Patreon sign up, that would be great. And that will help us reach our goal of 125. Or if anybody else wants to update their pledge, absolutely, please feel free. And yeah, I mean, Marley, Christina, you guys let me know. Like, should we do a reading from here, or should I go to bed, or should we wait for another Patreon sign up, or should I go play some Super Metroid? I feel like I should go play some Super Metroid. I feel like I earned it. So. All right. No, seriously, I do want to play Super Metroid though. All right. Whoa, Robbie, thanks again for joining in. We do readings for people right out of the chat when they join during the beginning of the broadcast. They're like long readings. They're different too. So. But yeah, I'm pretty much ready to call a night. Did you guys know that I have an elf here? Did anyone see that? I'll just show you my elf here. Can you guys see my elf here? Does it work that way? I can't like look at the camera and have to look at the delay feed. If anybody's wondering, like, yes, I have like, I'm like half elf blood. It's not even half elf blood. It's actually full elf blood. So do whatever you feel like. Morphic, someone sign up so he can sleep. Yeah, please, team. Please sign up so I can sleep. I like doing that though. I'll just like hold myself hostage, and that's like basically it. So thank you guys. But see, we always get like new people joining in at random hours. Lay, thank you for joining in. We do collective readings for the team, but we also do readings individually for people who sign up for the Patreon, and that can be an on-air or private reading. Darren, thank you again for checking in on the chat. Again, we're doing collective readings right now, so if anyone would like to be able to get one more reading before we call it a broadcast, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes to be able to sign up for the Patreon, and that will get you the next reading on air. Oh, what? I just realized I was like copying and pasting that wrong. Wow, okay, let me repaste that link. I apologize. Probably did that more than once. There's the real link for the Patreon. So, yeah, and so for anybody here who's like checking in for free readings, again, we do like community collective readings is kind of what we do, but we also pick people from the chat at the beginning of the broadcast. But to be able to honor the energy exchange, I invite anybody here who may even be new to check out my Patreon and to be able to I think I'm gonna be back on YouTube in 1 second. All right, YouTube, am I back online? If I am, let me know. I think I'm back online. And I think I have to like restart the broadcast on Facebook. Yeah, I do. That's all right. All right, we'll just hang out just for a couple extra minutes. All right, we're back. Am I back on YouTube? I'm quite certain I'm back on YouTube. Did you guys miss me? Man, I need to do more like face exercises with my face. Strengthen my cheek muscles and reverse the signs of aging. That's what happens when you get older. These like little things appear on your face. It's like the face starts to melt and stuff. It's really weird. But you can reverse it by doing face stretches. Everybody here, put your hands here on your face and then lift your cheeks. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then you do that like 10 times a day. Which is what I should probably do. Anyways, for those of you just joining in on Facebook, they're just like, wait, what? What am I watching right now? You're watching Late Night Brendan, drunk off of being up too late. Alright. So again, I'm just going to hang out here for another couple extra minutes. If we can do one more tarot reading, then that will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. I'm back. I was gonna say, pop quiz, what sign, yeah, I know, no, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about my face. I just know that's like actually like a Taoist thing. Like I've seen, like that's actually like a thing where it's like seriously, it's like I'm literally just telling that to anybody. Like if you do that, you pull your cheeks down because it creates resistance, and then you do that. And if you do it like 20 times a day, so, and I'm not complaining, I'm just observing, so. I love getting older. It's actually quite a beautiful thing to be able to celebrate. So. Alright, looks like my Instagram feed's about to end. So, Shauna Lee, thank you so much for joining in. It stops automatically once I get to an hour. And, yeah, we'll keep in touch, Shauna Lee. And thank you so much again for your support on the Patreon and for joining in. And, yeah, look forward to chatting some more. So. Ending the broadcast on Instagram, and I'll stay up on YouTube just for a couple more minutes. So, all right, absolutely. Thank you so much. Much love and sweet dreams. You're doing great. Talk to you soon. All right. Okie dokie. All right, who's still tuned into this broadcast right now? So, Alicia, don't fall asleep during hockey. Yeah, I know, right? And hockey is like, yeah, it's like I get up at 7 for it, and then it's pretty early. So, Duran, I'm down to do one more reading again if we get one more person signed up for the Patreon, and then we'll do one more reading. Other than that, I'm just going to chill out for the next little bit. I mean, other than, like, what do you guys... Okay, Patreon supporters, you can tell me if you want me to do a reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck now or later. I'll let you guys decide that. But it might not be so much of a reading as much as it will just be me reading what's written in the book. So... But yes, absolutely, I do need to get to sleep soon. All right. How many people do we have tuned in right now? Alicia, thanks for joining in. Don't stay up too late, team. If you guys need to get sleep, go to sleep. We got 5 people tuned in. Okay, Marley wants me to rest. I feel like collectively you guys are just like, yes, go to bed, Brendan, which is fine. Like, we definitely we increased our Patreon by $30. $30. So that's good. So again, I appreciate that. And if anybody here wants to increase their Patreon pledge, you can always do that afterwards. And we're at 124. So that's awesome. I'm working on getting up to, I want to be able to get 150 by the end of the month. We'll see about that. That will involve several more broadcasts. Again, it's a mix. Like sometimes I'll like send out individual messages to people and invite them to support on the Patreon. And then other times, like oftentimes, like creating the conditions for these broadcasts helps people sign up. And again, like me getting people to sign up for the Patreon, like that's just part of my job. That's a part of my work, and that's just to be able to like honor what's still ahead in the future. That's so I can get the ability to like go visit Marley out in California, and live stream smoking DMT on a beach. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I still have audio of my first time doing DMT that I wanted to be able to release for my Patreon supporters. If you guys are interested in that, it's like literally from like 10 years ago. But it's actually very interesting to listen to. I'm just like, whoa, man, I can see the code in the Matrix. Yeah. Reminder, if you guys haven't connected yet, please feel free to connect to the team chat. All right. Thank you, Alicia. Good night, Alicia. Thank you for joining in. All right. Last check. If there's anybody here who wants to sign up for the Patreon, go ahead and let me know. And other than that, I'm gonna jump off in a second. Hey, LS, thanks for joining in. I don't think I should play Metroid right now. Like that's like more of an investment. Play some Aero Fighters though. If you guys are tuned in, thanks for joining in. Sweet. Alright, I'm just gonna play some Aero Fighters for a little bit. And then I'm gonna jump off. Excuse me. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Marley, you're joined in on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Blowing my mind here, dude. Reminder, if you guys are on Patreon, check out like the Patreon only content, and you can see there the like the 3-hour long video that I have of my mushroom experience, my 5-gram mushroom experience, which is like super cool because I don't think a lot of people have documented themselves like on mushrooms. Like I know there's a lot of post report stuff. Not to say there hasn't been done, but I just know there hasn't been a lot of it, and it depends on the intention, right? So, I've been working on that bilocation. Yeah. All right. So for those of you watching, this is just playing some like Arrow Fighters for a little bit. Again, if anybody's joined into this, thank you so much for joining in. We've been doing tarot readings all night. Most of the people have gone to sleep. A couple of us are still up. I'm just gonna stay awake just for another minute. If there's anybody who wants to sign up for the Patreon, go ahead. But other than that, we're calling it a night in a minute. And please feel free to click that bell notification and subscribe. Get them power-ups. Man, this is such a old school game. I love it though. These old shoot 'em ups, like honestly, I see these games as being like Jedi training, like straight up. Pew 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 pew. All right, like I said, I'm going to bed in a couple minutes, so. Just gotta keep clicking that button. How many people are tuned in right now? Drop an infinity sign if you're tuned in right now. And if you don't know how to drop an infinity sign, it's Alt plus F5. Yeah, Marley, you know what I'm talking about. Who here was born between 84 and 90? If so, then you're part of the special club. The special club of like growing up with like Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and stuff like that, and like arcades and everything. Oh, 1111, it didn't work to, it's like, yeah, it's Alt F5 or Alt and 5? No. Yeah, you got it. You got it there. Marley got it. Pew 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 pew. Alright guys, like I said, I'm about to go to sleep in a minute. I gotta go get some cereal and get to bed. Wake up, play some hockey, aka more Jedi training. It's an interesting league because it's just like a pickup. Oh, you copy pasted. It's like a pickup league, but it's for it's like adults, but a lot of it is like elderly men, you know, like 55 plus. So it's pretty fun. Choo 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 choo. For those of you just joining in, yes, this is not tarot readings at the moment. But it's because we're just chilling out because we've done like a million tarot readings already tonight. If anybody has any recommendations for like games they would want to see me play on a Super Nintendo emulator, let me know. Like you can literally like download any game from the emulator sites, but of course you're supposed to own the game, is kind of how it works. infinitysymbol.net. Is that where you copy pasted from? Should be able to work though. It's usually Alt. Yeah, Daniel did it in the Facebook chat. Yeah, it's Alt plus F5. Unless your keyboard doesn't have an F5 on it. Rondo of Blood. Never heard of that one. Is it a shoot 'em up? Whoops. Okay, I'm just gonna go until I get like game over on this. I'm not sure how many continues you get. Not that many. I have beat this game, mind you. Castlevania. Oh, yeah. You were saying that last time. Symphony of Darkness. Right? That's what it was called. Gotta get me them bills. Does anybody here have Team Fortress 2? I want to like play Team Fortress 2 with some people. Like that'd be kind of fun to do that on air. I was big into Team Fortress 2. I was on a clan back in the day. That was fun. Man, playing on a clan like in video games back in the day, like that was like that was cool, man. We had like Ventrilo voice chat and stuff like that. Vent, as it was called. Boss fight. Oh shoot. Oh, gotta get that full. Get some. Nice. I got the full blast. Team Fortress Classic. Nice, Marley. I didn't expect them to be back here again. Whoa. Those helicopters, man. Medic. Use the boost to get through. I should play old Star Fox. You know, I've never really... I've not properly played old Star Fox. Star Fox 64 I played. I want to find a way where I can, like, plug my computer or, like, my old consoles into, like, the feeds for broadcast. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, though. Pew pew. Oh, no. Okay, I think this is my last life. Pew 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 pew. Cheer me on, everyone. Marley, a reminder that yeah, that's it. Since you updated your pledge, connect to the team chat, connect to our Discord, and if you want to be involved with future team broadcasts on air, let me know. You do have that privilege as a Patreon supporter. So alright, I'm gonna call it a night. Sweet. Alright, awesome. Good job tonight, everyone. Thank you so much again for your support. Fun and enlightening as always. For those of you tuned in on Facebook and YouTube, thank you again. Marley, I'll send you the direct link just through Facebook. I'll do that. If you go to paradigmshiftcentral.com and scroll down, the link for it is there. But then I would have to like add you as a leading member as well. So yeah, I'll let me just see. The Discord is not it. We use it, and I wish people used it more. It's just one of those things where like it's hard to coordinate people online. All right, cool. Okay, Marley, yeah, we'll just chat on Facebook tomorrow. I'm gonna head to bed. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in, and yeah, super appreciated. As always, keep it shifty, and I'll see you guys in the future. Get some sleep. See you soon. Much love.